Oyedamola, I can see your hand is raised up. Do you want to say something? You could put it in the chat box. Rebecca, same as well. You could put that in the chat box as well. Okay, Ivy said she would like to do a welcome speech. Um,
Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Okay. We are here. Hi everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So I just wanted to hop in very quickly and then hop back out. Thank you, G. Um, all right, so
Yeah.
thank you guys for being here and trying to be on time because some of you are just joining. So yeah, for the next few hours, I'd like to just this is the Changemakers workshop, the first of its kind, courtesy of YSIPS Foundation. My name is Ivory, and I'm the founder of YSIPS Foundation. Pretty much, you're going to be seeing more of me if you get affiliated to YSIPS. I just wanted to give a bit of welcome and then we'll get to what we have for today. So first things first, you need to know that you're in class, right? So this is not just a seminar or a conference that you just come and go. We're going to have like practice exercises right on the call. It's a workshop, so just expect practice exercises and have your, notepad, your iPad, whatever it is that you're going to use to do your classwork ready. Okay, so that when we get to that point, you're ready. Secondly, you need to be here. Like, the thing with virtual calls is that you can be here and not here, right? Most of the time, people are not here. Please, for those of you, your hands are up. We cannot allow people to unmute as well so that we can keep the conversation controlled. It's a teaching session. So if we have everybody able to unmute, it might cause some uncomfortable interference. So if you want to say something, please use the chat box to drop your comments. We'll be looking at the chat box and we'll definitely be giving you like real-time responses. So we're going to have 3 sessions on this call today, which is going to do a deep dive. But I just wanted to give a brief about who we are, what we do. So we're YSIPS Foundation, we're a non-profit organization that is focused on youth development. And we have intervention programs across education, mentoring, leadership, and yes, so education, mentoring, leadership, and entrepreneurship. And we've been, working in the last 4 years. This will be our 5th year of operation. And the Changemakers workshop, is our pilot project, so to say. And that's because a lot of people, we understand that a lot of young people are passionate about, starting a social impact journey. You want to give back to the society, you want to contribute to the development of Africa or young people in Africa. You want to just do something meaningful with your life, okay, and you don't know how to start, you don't know how to begin. So this workshop is supposed to be like your guide into beginning your journey as a social impact leader. We definitely have a program tailored to this. So this is the first of its kind. What you're going to be getting today is a tip of the iceberg. So I want to give you a feel of what the actual Change Makers program, which we're going to talk about at the end of today's session. Oh, okay. Mm. Okay, I just got feedback that the chat box is disabled. 1 second. Okay, it's been enabled. Please try to put a comment in the chat. Let me be sure that we are here. So that's that. So welcome, guys. I'll pass the mic back to you. I just wanted to show my face, normal founders paroles, and then just be out of your hair today. And I'll probably be back later. Okay, so thank you again for being here. Thank you again for joining. And we look forward to a great outing. Over to you, UG. So please let me tell her. Okay, now the chat box is alive. So guys,
It's
please let
enabled now because I can see
yes.
chats coming in now.
Yes, please. So tell us your name,
Yeah.
where you're joining from, and all of the things that you've been asked to do. Thank you. See you
Thank you
later.
so much, Ivory. Thank you so much. Ivory, is the leader, is our leader. She's our leader, so we are following her. She's really been amazing. Thank you so much for that introductory speech, Ivory. Uh, it's been really amazing working with Y Saves, working with Ivory, working under Ivory's leadership. She's an amazing leader. She's a go-getter. Um, yeah, so we'll just go straight into the chat box. Um, Hi, Judy. Judy says hello. Helen, thank you for the smiley, Helen. Thank you, Rebecca. Oh yeah, we have Anissa Idris. Anissa Idris is joining from Abuja. Amazing. Thank you for joining Idris. He's works in the IT department of the Financial Inclusion Center. That's a good one. Thank you so much, Idris, for introducing yourself. Hi, Judy. You're joining from Nigeria. Of course, you're joining from Nigeria. Okay, yeah, you're joining from Nigeria. What part in Nigeria are you joining from? Nigeria is a very big country. What part of Nigeria? So we have some people might not be joining, from Nigeria. Some people might be joining from outside of Nigeria. So if you can let us know where in Nigeria you're joining from, what you do, that would be amazing. Hi, Joy Deborah. Thank you for joining. Joy says, I'm joining from Lagos, Nigeria. She's an entrepreneur. Thank you so much, Joy. Hi, Gladness. Gladness Joseph is joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you so much, Gladness. It's nice to meet you. Hi, Oyedamola. Oyedamola says she's joined all the way from Lagos and she's a COP member currently working at Office 360. Amazing, amazing. It is really nice to have you guys. I'm sure that's not everybody on this call because we just have a few people who has put in their details about where they're joining from and also what they do. So if you've not done that yet, you can still put it in the chat box and then we'll have that chance to read it out before we start to introduce um our speakers and also get into the agenda for today. Oh, did I just see one chat? Oh, yeah, that's Eunice. Hi, Eunice. Eunice says, my name is Eunice Ngwanwa. I hope I pronounced that properly. And I'm joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Eunice is an insurance broker. Hi, Eunice. It's really nice to meet you. Hi, Gladness. Gladness says she's an entrepreneur. Okay, that's fine, Gladness. Thank you so very much for all this lovely, lovely introductions. Thank you guys so very much. So I'm sure we know why we're gathered here today. Some of you have showed interest to be a volunteer with YSIPS Foundation, and Ivy has just given us a quick recap as to who we are as an organization and what we do. And then it's amazing to see every single one of you who have volunteered to be, or who have indicated this interest to be part of the YSIPS team. And I'm sure you would really love this ride. It's an amazing thing to want to make a difference in the community and to make a difference in and make that impact in somebody else's life. So yeah, it's really nice to have you all here on this call. Um, I will just read out some more profiles. Helen says Helen. Hi, I'm Helen Isaac Perebo from Rivers State, Nigeria. Hi, Helen. Nice to meet you. Shalom. Hi, Shalom Igbinoba. She says she's joining from Benin City, Nigeria. She's a teacher and a CSC accredited agent. Wow. Thank you so much, Shalom. That is amazing. Thank you. It's nice to meet you. Rebecca says, Hi, my name is Rebecca Abolarinwa. Nice to meet you, Rebecca. And I'm joining from Ibadan, Nigeria. I'm a registered nurse and a podcaster. This is really like we have lots of incredible profiles here in the chat box, and I'm seriously wowed. I'm seriously wowed. Nice to meet every single one of you. Really, today is going to be very packed. We have lots of speakers who will be speaking about the different aspects of volunteering and sustainable impact. It is our hope that at the end of this session, you would leave really knowledgeable, and you would leave equipped about, you will leave equipped and you would know what it takes to be a volunteer, and then this, as well as, the skill set that are required, right, to also embark on this volunteering journey. Because as much as you might have the passion for volunteering, there are certain skill sets that are required for you to be, to play really well in the NGO space and to be an outstanding volunteer and someone who is willing to drive change. So today's meeting would showcase all of that. We would have the opportunity to listen to these industry experts, people who have been in the volunteer space for long, long, long time, who are equipped with the right skill set and who are knowledgeable in the volunteer space. So we hope that at the end of this today's session, which is themed the Amplifying Impact, Volunteering a Catalyst for Sustainable Development. We hope that at the end of today, you would leave really equipped. You would leave with that knowledge, you will live with that understanding of as to what makes a volunteer and how it is, how um the importance of sustainable impact in your communities and even as an individual, the benefits that it brings to you as an individual, and the advancement it also brings to your career, as well as the necessary skill set that is required for you to go on this journey as a volunteer. So without wasting much of our time, um, just give me 1 minute, please. Yeah, so we've had the arrival and the welcome speech from um our CEO, Mrs. Ivory Emeka, and then we've also had the introduction going on in the chat room. Soon enough, we'll be calling on the first speaker of today. But before we do that, I just want to know who and who is excited. If you're excited to be here today, let me see your excitement in the chat box. If you're excited, just put in an emoji, put in whatever of your favorite emojis that you like. Just put it in the chat box and let's see the excitement for today's event. Ooh, we've got lots of excited faces. So let me see your excitement in the chat box. Mm. Thank you, guys. I see it going on in chat box. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep putting it in. Let's see how excited you are today. I honestly cannot wait for this session to start, like proper. I can't wait for the speakers to come on because I myself, there's something you might have been in this space for a while, but there's something called a refresher. So I want to be able to also partake of that knowledge that's going to be dished out today. So I'm sure you guys can't wait as well. I can see it in the comment section. Keep bringing it up. Yes, Judith, that's how it is. Yes. Keep going, guys. It's amazing to see all of the emojis in the chat box. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. And I can see now, I can see you guys. I can feel the excitement in the chat box. Oh, this is really amazing. It's really, really amazing to have you all here today. So quickly, I'll just go through the agenda for today. So we'll have the keynote speaker come up in a very short time. And then after that, that's the first speaker. And then we'll also have like question and answer sessions today on today's call. And then we'll have the first speaker, and then we'll have the question and answer session, and then we'll have the second speaker come up, and then we'll have our induction speech. And then we'll have um our slide deck for our new inductees for today. And hopefully with that, we can start to round up on the program for today. So thank you all so much for putting in your emojis. Thank you for so much for showing your excitement to be here today. Um, yeah, just give me a minute. So I'll just like to ask a quick question. Is there any of us in the chat room who has volunteered before, who has worked in the NGO space? Is there anyone who has, volunteered, done what kind of what regardless of what volunteering you've done, if you've done a volunteering of whatsoever cause before, if you can just put in the chat room and let me know what volunteering. Oh, you have. Let me see who someone just dropped something. Anissa, I hope I pronounced your name properly. Anissa says she has volunteered before. If you can let me know what capacity you volunteered as, and what industry or whatever it is that you volunteered as, that would be nice to know. If anyone has volunteered before, you could just, put in a chat box what capacity you volunteered as, what what sector, also you volunteered um you volunteered in? What sector, what industry did you volunteer in? What have you done in terms of volunteering? Was it educational? Was it um internationally? Was it, oh, someone says I've worked as a coordinator. I've worked as a coordinator in the education sector. Thank you so much, Eunice, for that. Amazing. You've worked as a coordinator in the education sector. Thank you so much for that. So if you can also have more of that comment, more of, the input. If you volunteered before, tell us what area you volunteered as. Oh, amazing. This one says, Shalom says, I've volunteered before as a mental health advocate. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Shalom. Thank you so very much. That is really amazing. Thank you. Is it okay? Someone else says, I've been volunteering for almost 7 years now. Amazing. Wow. I think we have maybe similar volunteering experience because I've also volunteered for a little bit of that long as well. I've been volunteering for almost 7 years now since SS1. I think I volunteer mostly in health department and also as a counselor for family planning and mental health. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Anise, sir. So I'll take it that you're in the healthcare space. That's what I that's what I can understand by what you've just said. So thank you so much. Thank you for that. Volunteering for 7 years. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. You must be really committed to volunteering as well to join the YSIPS team today. Thank you so much. I'll just take a minute. You can keep the comments coming in the chat box. I really love to see all of your experiences. And if you don't have any volunteer experience, that's perfectly fine. That's totally fine. But if you have any volunteer experience, we would love to see, what volunteer experience you've had, how long you volunteered for, or what space you've actually volunteered in. It would be nice to see that. So let's just have that go in the chat box whilst we pull up we introduce our first speaker shortly. Okay. So would since we don't have any other comments in the chat box, we'll just move on to introduce our first speaker for today. I'm so excited and I cannot wait for her to speak. I cannot wait for her to really just pour into us and just open up that wealth of knowledge that she has. And then we also pick very important things, from everything she has to say today. So I encourage you to listen attentively. I encourage you to have your notes ready, handy, have your notes handy, take notes, and then also be prepared to put down your questions so that when we call in the question time, you can ask your questions. So without further ado, I'll just read out the profile for our, our keynote speaker for today. I hope you can see my screens. So our keynote speaker for today is Fabia Ogumeko. Fabia is a lawyer and a development consultant with 22 years of experience in the law and development sectors. She specializes in healthcare, gender, and entrepreneurship. She has held leadership roles in strategy, execution, program development, governance, stakeholder management, communications, and fundraising, with a focus on driving organizational growth and impact. Her consulting experience spans international development organizations where she has contributed to projects aimed at advancing equality, and economic empowerment. As the founding trustee of Imara Foundation and a member of several advisory boards, Fabia's expertise in nonprofit leadership extends to mentoring and capacity building. She's the founder of Adaba Initiatives and currently serves as the chairperson, YSIP's advisory board. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Fabia, our keynote speaker for today. Please just give her a round of applause in the chat box. Put in your excitement. Welcome. Let's welcome Fabia for her keynote speech today. Put in your welcome in the chat box and let her see how excited you are to have her today. Welcome, Fabia. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Just doing a sound check. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Please, if at any point it starts to break, kindly let me know. So maybe I'll change. I have another network on standby, so whichever one is clearer.
All right, then we'll do.
Okay, so thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the welcome in the chat box. It's great to be here. Great here with the YSIPS family. Thank you to the executive director of YSIPS, Ivory, and Emeka Ogwaga, for having me and giving me the opportunity to speak to you all, and of course to the amazing YSIPS team. Very excited to be here. I think I have half an hour to deliver my presentation. So let's just get right into it. Volunteerism as a catalyst for sustainable development. I'm going to share my screen, attempt to share my screen, but I think you need to bring down the screen now, Ugochi, or
Yeah,
whoever is
okay.
sharing, so that I can also have access.
All right then.
Thank you. Just confirming that you can see my screen and it's up.
Yeah, perfectly. It's fine. Yeah.
Can you
Yeah, it's
confirm?
up now.
It's up? Okay. All right. So let's get into it. So I'll just ask my own. Unfortunately, I can't monitor the charts at the same
Right.
time. But I hope that we can have a little bit of an interactive session. So again, just to say welcome to all the volunteers that are here. You're in a great place. You're in a great space. Volunteerism is truly a catalyst for impact. It is truly a catalyst for sustainable development. Also an amazing way of also finding your purpose and where you intend to pitch your tent in this journey of impact and change making, change seeking, and et cetera, et cetera. So what is volunteerism? And it has numerous definitions, and I'm sure you will hear a lot from a number of the speakers here today, on their own perspectives of what volunteerism is, as well as some synergies in the definitions of volunteerism. So let's kick in with a sort of basic definition. Volunteerism refers to the practice of individuals willingly offering their time and skills to support a cause, to support an organization, to support a community. And this is largely without receiving monetary compensation. So again, I'd just like to emphasize, the issue or what it is that we volunteer our time towards. We volunteer our time towards supporting a cause. It can really be just a one-off cause, something we believe deeply in, something that resonates deeply with us, something that we want to pursue. So for me, for example, women's economic empowerment, women's leadership, women's, gender equality, giving more agency and voice to women and girls and children in broadly, and families. Anything that resonates in any of these boxes, you will find me willing to lend my support to such a cause. You can also volunteer from the basis of an organization, right? So a bigger umbrella. So for example, majority of us here are considering, have signed up, and have dotted the I's and the T's and say we are ready to support YSIPs in this 2025 calendar year. So it means that whatever the various categories of programming, of impact or causes that YSIP supports, you are generally open to whatever, is thrown at you. You really will not, or are not in the mindset of picking and choosing. Obviously, you may be given, the opportunity to sort of say, okay, I would rather be working this aspect of the organization, or I'd rather support in this aspect of the organization. But generally, the idea is that, when you volunteer your time to an organization, you are open to wherever the organization, has a need, wherever they would like you to support best, or where they feel that the skills that you bring to the table, would be most efficient. Whereas where it's a cause, it's really more specific to you, your beliefs, your values, and what it is you want to pursue. Of course, there's alignment, obviously, usually there will be alignment between the causes that interest you and also the organizations that you select to volunteer in. The best advice I would give is that there should obviously always be alignment between your personal goals and where you choose to sort of support and give your time, because then you get the best results. And of course, from a community perspective, right? So there's the individual level, which is really about, supporting the cause, then the organizational level, and of course, the larger community. And that could be yourself, participating in community projects that may not necessarily be tied to an organization, but more community-based. Now, the key to why the difference between you being an employee or some other kind of contract relationship with the organization that you volunteer for, or your community, is the fact that you do not receive, to a certain extent, monetary compensation, right? And if I can just again emphasize the point about monetary compensation, here what we mean is that it's, your engagement with the organization is not salaried. You may receive a stipend, so it's not that there's completely no exchange of money or value. You may receive a stipend, for example, if you're volunteering on the basis of being on a board, you may receive sitting allowances. You will certainly receive value in kind, right? From a personal perspective, just the growth and the satisfaction of that impact that you are making is certainly a form of compensation. It's a form of value, right? There's also the visibility that you will get, especially if you sort of promote the work that you do on social media, and even the opportunity to talk about your volunteer commitments. So definitely in volunteering, while there may not be consistent contractual monetary compensation, you certainly do receive value. You certainly do receive, and we'll speak about some of those, ways in which you receive value, whether it's also from, just growth, capacity building, like today, right? This first induction event that we're having on the YSIPS calendar is a way of also building your capacity. So non-monetary for sure, but there's so many other great things that you gain from volunteering. And that just segues into, the impacts that you get. Volunteering obviously strengthens communities by boosting civic engagement, right? And that again is part of the capacity building that I talk about. You're exposed to new ideas, you're exposed to organizational ways of doing things, to structure, exposed to project planning, you're exposed to, being able to deliver on initiatives and so many fantastic skills. But also, the core at the heart of volunteerism is civic engagement. It's about social inclusion. It's about solidarity. So it also potentially increases the impact of what the organization or the cause of the community is trying to do. I want to emphasize the fact that, you're agreeing to become a volunteer, especially in the social impact space, is so critical. If you know about the social impact space, and I know that Ugochi asked some questions in the beginning about, who has volunteered within the NGO space, prior, you will understand that the NGOs, non-governmental organizations or civil society organizations or voluntary sector organizations, however you would like to sort of put the terms, even charity organizations, community-based organizations, these are different ways of describing social impact organizations. These organizations are the third sector. We call them the third sector, right? So not necessarily third because they come third, but just third in the definition of the various sectors. So you've got public sector, of course, which is government, right? You've got private sector, which is really about corporates and entrepreneurship and business, right? And then you have the third sector, which is NGOs, CSOs, and all these other non-state actors. Now, the reason why they are so critical and why they're called the third sector is that they go where these other two sectors either do not go, cannot play for various reasons, either for resource constraint reasons or capacity constraint reasons. So, for example, the government is really the first force for public engagement and for civic engagement, really, right? But we know that because government has limited resources, especially government in Nigeria, but not just limited resources, sometimes limited reach, right? The ability to really get into communities, understand the problems of communities and all of that, right? And with private sector, the fact that they're largely profit driven, and so their motivation really is about profit, even though with the sustainable development goals, we are trying to shift the thinking of private sector to think people, planet, and people, planet, and of course, profits, right? And even for us in the non-profit sector, we're also beginning to understand that a lot of this work, we cannot do it without collaboration with the for-profit entities. So the third sector is really critical because it goes where it taps into where private sector will traditionally not play, where public sector may not have the capacity to be able to reach. And so they bridge this gap between public because it's about people, it's about human capital, and it's about causes, and it's about impact. And so I'm just trying to paint the picture for you that even in the idea of being a volunteer, you play such a critical role in delivering on the objectives of a critical part of nation building and of a critical part of the third sector economy. So I want you to embrace your volunteerism commitments with gusto, with excitement, and with the passion that comes from understanding that you are doing something that contributes to the bigger picture of nation building. So having said that, before I speak about my journey in volunteerism, I wanted to just quickly get two or three comments. And Ugochi, if you could help me with what's coming through from the comments. Why volunteer, right? Why volunteer? So for anyone who's here, share with us why you have decided to volunteer or why you have historically volunteered. So just if I can get two comments in the chat box, that'll be great. So Ugochi, please read them out as they come. And the sooner the better, because I think I have 20 minutes more for my presentation.
All right, guys, let's have the comments in the chat box.
Why
Thank you very much.
volunteer? Yes, why is
Yeah,
volunteering
why
so
volunteer?
important?
If you volunteered before, why have you volunteered? Why did you sign up to be a volunteer? We just have like one or two comment in the chat box and then we okay, someone says, Judith says social connection.
Okay, great. Thanks, Judith. Social connection. Okay. Anyone? Can we get one more? Why volunteer? Why do you think volunteering is important? Why have you volunteered in the past? Why are you signing up to volunteer now? What are your motivations? Let's see. Can I get one more at least?
Paul says
Okay,
impact.
so I think it's Paul. Paul, yes, impact.
Shalom says humanitarian service, nation
Fantastic.
building.
Coming through now, I love it. Yes,
Rebecca says it gives you
and
the
nation
platform to
building.
solve problems.
Excellent. Fantastic. Thank you. I see another one come through. Helen says,
Yeah, she says volunteering gives
volunteering gives the
opportunity
opportunity.
for
Please
social
go ahead. Go
impact and
ahead,
nation
Coach.
building. Volunteering is an opportunity to harness skills and it's an avenue for growth.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you all so much. And thank you for your contributions. I think I might hand over my class to, or hand over this presentation to Helen because she's hit the nail precisely and she's hit quite a number of points. So I'm just going to go back to let me just recap on what everybody has said. So we started off with volunteerism gives the opportunity for social connection, right? Which means it gives an opportunity to build connections with other people who are connected to social causes, and then gives you a platform to also be social, right? So fantastic. And then, of course, it gives you the opportunity to make impact. It gives you the opportunity to serve from a humanitarian service and a nation building perspective. It gives you the platform to solve problems, which is fantastic. And those problems are impact driven problems. It gives you the opportunity to, again, social impact nation building, but also to harness skills, right? To harness skills that you may be nurturing, to harness skills that you may not even know that you were lacking. And it's certainly an avenue for growth. It's also an avenue to find your purpose, right? If you're a bit unclear about certain things or about, maybe the direction in which you want to go, whether it's from a career perspective, it gives you a platform to test some of those skills. It gives you the opportunity to give back to the community, right? To support the causes you believe in and to help those in need as well as, your personal development. And it also gives you the opportunity to offer your time and skills to support an organization. Fantastic comments. Fantastic comments. Thank you, everyone. I wasn't expecting as much interaction, and that gives me a lot of joy. So thank you very much for that. So with that being said, let me talk a little bit about my journey in volunteerism so that you know that this is something that can start as early as primary school, right? And I'm a great advocate, and I will speak to that later. And I hope that it's something that YSIPs will also take into account as we do our programming and consider our strategic plans for this year. How we can really push this conversation around volunteerism, which I think is so critical, and we've really hit, something special. So I think if I just think back, I was thinking about when I was preparing the slides, my earliest recollections of volunteerism, of me being a volunteer. And it goes as back as me when I was in primary school. I was in the Brownie Guide, right, which was like a smaller or the baby level of being a girl's guide, right? So in those days, you became a girl's guide when you probably moved into secondary school. But at primary school level, you started off with being a Brownie Guide. I was actually looking for my old pictures. I think I have a couple that show me my uniform. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the time. So maybe when I update the slides ahead of sharing it with you all, I may find that picture. But it was such a fantastic opportunity to be a member of the Brownie Guides. And of course, our coaches or mentors were those who were already part of the Girls Guide Association of Nigeria. And what did we do? We made things like we knitted, we sewed, maybe like, I don't know, maybe blankets or napkins. We did this, different projects where we're able to raise funds and then give to, charitable causes. And that was from a very early age. The motto of the Brownie Guide, incidentally, was lend a hand. And from those, really early days of being between maybe 7, 8, and when I turned 10, it was really key in shaping because the motto was lend a hand. The motto also, I think our song said something like, we're Brownie Guides, we're here to lend a hand, to love our God and serve our country our home and our land. We've brownie friends in north, south, east, and west. We're bound together in community to try to do our best, right? And I think if you think about the words of that, it's a song, but I decided not to sing it, right? You will see that it touches on so many of the things, right, that you sort of ascribed to what it means to volunteer. And that was really from an early age, to lend a hand, to serve our country, to help our home and land. And we have friends in different north, south, east, and west again. So that speaks to the social connections that come with volunteerism. I also recall motherless babies visits when I was in secondary school in Ibadan. And that was such a, again, key and formidable part of my growing up years, that was embedded into our school activities and after school activities, that we could do those things, right? I also remember going, with my mom, who herself was a volunteer and used to do a lot of, as a medical doctor, used to do a lot of medical outreach programs for, underserved communities in Lagos. She also lectured in church on family planning and all those sort of areas in terms for young and singles and almost married who were getting ready for that part of life. And she also belonged to the International Women's Society. So that was modeled for me very positively in my growing up years, even though I didn't understand it to be volunteering as such. But on reflection, that was exactly what it is. Then in the later years of both secondary school, again, we used to do, again, organized through school hospital visits, pushing food trolleys for the elderly sections of the hospitals to enable them buy like treats and things that they would ordinarily access to, especially for those that may not have had family members visiting them so often. And it was in these little things that whole idea of service was really ingrained in me. And I think that it actually became part of the reason why I decided to choose law as a career. That's innate that innate nurturing from a young age of the importance of service, the importance of back, the importance of, then we didn't know it as impact, but I think it was really more around giving back. And in the later years, right through from, I would say, university, right up to where I am currently now in life, my volunteerism has really been about through society memberships and supporting the causes of the societies that I'm a member of. Through mentoring, I was very active in the mentoring and still remain active in the mentoring space, as well as now my board memberships. So this is really just to paint a picture of the different ways in which we can volunteer, and that importance, even for you who are relatively young, at least younger than I am, of understanding that even now you have so much to give, and you can even walk backwards to start to train the next generation after you who are in primary schools and in secondary schools on the importance of volunteerism. Now, let me run through quickly. I can see that I'm really moving along and my time is far spent. I think I have about 10 minutes left. How can volunteerism be a catalyst for change? And again, we've already alluded to that. One is the fact that it addresses immediate needs and it inspires, unity and collaboration and solidarity within communities. The other part is that it fosters, even within us, it trains us to be more empathetic, right? Because we are supporting in a cause that is bigger than ourselves by advocating for systemic change and helping to amplify the voices of the marginalized groups, right? So I spoke, for example, about my mom who used to do medical outreaches when I was much younger, and she was doing this in communities that were underserved. And in that way, she was also understanding their needs, their problems, and helping to also speak to those who who were in positions of power to be able to really, one, by her amplification of those voices, they were able to make certain changes, whether it was by maybe ensuring that, medical services reached, those areas, or whether it was the idea of building, the required infrastructure or staffing the required infrastructure, or ensuring that there were no stockouts with the required medications and drugs. So our contributory impact to volunteerism actually has that opportunity for systemic change, right? And it builds us up, obviously, as advocates. We are obviously, as I've said, crucial for supporting public services by reaching the poorest of the poor. In the NGO sector, we have the unique capability of really engaging with the grassroots, right? Engaging with communities, engaging with stakeholders and with people, and carrying that again in the understanding of amplification back to government, back to the private sector, who can then fund some of these initiatives or at least design programs that are more, scalable and catalytic. And of course, we are role models ourselves as volunteers because we inspire the next generation of why this is so important. And like I said, I think that even as we are today, we can make that commitment that for anyone who is younger than us, we can begin to build the understanding of why volunteering is so important. And of course, it builds our capacity for leadership, for ethical leadership, and it goes beyond charity. The bigger our involvement, the bigger the organization, the bigger it feeds into community action, the more we can actually position and be part of something that is truly catalytic. Now, of course, as volunteers, we're also change makers, right? And so when you sign up to be a volunteer, you effectively sign up to becoming a change maker. And there are certain, it comes with a certain mindset. Not everyone is built to volunteer, right? Not everyone it's not automatic for everyone, but everyone can develop that mindset, right? To be able to give back and to be able to actually make the connection of why volunteerism is so important. So empathy is a big mindset that is required as a change maker. You need to understand, you need to be able to connect with people, right? You need to be able to connect with their issues, connect with their problems, so that you can also be a good advocate. Of course, like I said, it inspires us to lead, right? Because not only are you inspiring yourself to act, you're also inspiring others. It also helps you in building resourcefulness because you learn to use scarce resources impactfully and efficiently, right? A lot of you mentioned, the idea of being able to problem solve. And this is, one of the big mindsets that goes with being a change maker, identifying the root causes of issues, not just looking at it from a surface level, but going deep to understand the issues and then working to create solutions. Also, teamwork, right? We do not walk alone. That's one of my favorite phrases. Never walk alone. Incidentally, if you're a football fan, you will know that that is also the motto for Liverpool United, right? Never walk alone. So we do not believe in working alone. A change maker always, walks and works with collaboratively, because obviously, as you know, the famous saying, if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So teamwork is so critical. And teamwork can be challenging because some of us are built to work individually. Some of us do our best work, in silos and just, but unfortunately, if we really, really want to go far, we have to learn to build those skills of being collaborative, of learning how to work as a team, of learning how to, make sure that there's cohesiveness in teams that come with different kinds of people and for, that also have different types of characters, right? So we learn we learn how important teamwork is through volunteering. And of course, passion. We must come with that genuine interest from wanting to make a positive change, and then resilience, which is really about staying, the long haul, because it gets difficult. Sometimes it gets uncomfortable. Sometimes the places we're asked to go and volunteer is not the most, comfortable. It's not what we're used to. It's not cushy. So there are so many challenges that sometimes come with volunteering. And being able to understand that we're here for the long haul. If I've committed to doing this for 6 months, for 1 year, and whatever it takes, whatever challenges, I will overcome those challenges and I will get it done, right? So there are various impacts in obviously volunteering, but one of the most important things is in deciding to become a volunteer yourself, you must ensure that, wherever you're going to, be volunteering aligns with your values. There's some set you must make, right? Before you don't just volunteer for volunteering's sake, right? It must align with your values. You must choose organizations that are truly impactful, where your volunteering will mean something, right? Where they're able to leverage your expertise, where you yourself are able to build meaningful relationships, where it gives you an opportunity to raise awareness, to inspire action. And there's an opportunity to also learn, right? And grow. And like I said, I spoke about resilience already. What are the things you need to do to make your volunteer journey successful? You need to stay consistent. You need to keep welling up that passion every now and again to make sure, because passion is one of the biggest drivers and motivators for volunteering, and the belief in the cause, right? So staying consistent, understanding that, challenges will be thrown your way and be willing to embrace new challenges, right? And from a personal and organizational level, to be able to measure the impact of what you are doing, the opportunity to empower others, and just generally incorporate volunteering into your daily life, which is why I started off with with my journey and how my journey started, and saying that from a very young age, it's so important that we build in that, this next generation to understand that it's not even just about the organization that you volunteer for, but volunteering should become a way of life, right? Even at home, even in the things that we do, just being, ready to say yes, to supporting, to helping, to making meaningful contribution to those around you, to caring, to keying into how people are feeling, right? Rather than judging, as much as possible to be empathetic. These are like the skills of volunteering that will take us far. So what are some of the challenges in volunteering? Of course, the issue of time constraints. Sometimes we want to, we believe in so many causes and there's just so many great causes out there, but there's only so much we can do. And so I would just like to say that, let's think carefully about what we've committed to so that we can also stay and do things properly for the long haul. Right? The worst thing that you can do is to give, to sign up to volunteer for something and then you're not available to actually deliver on the things that you have promised, to be able to do. So time constraints, resource limitations are definitely challenges to volunteerism, or how much volunteers we can even take on board from an organizational perspective. Of course, burnout is real, right? Burnout is real, which means again that you have to be realistic about what it is that you can do and set your expectations, in a way that it's clear, and so that you yourself understand what you're able to give, and the organization also understands what it is that they can reasonably expect from you. So how do we solve for some of these challenges? Time management, understanding self-care and making that, priority as well. Retention, strategies. This is from an organizational perspective. But I think the most important thing is clear expectations from on the side of both the volunteer and the organization, and then ultimately some kind of recognition programs or reward system to celebrate, right? To continue to give that boost that what you're doing matters. We see you, we care about you, and we, appreciate what it is that you're doing in building and in helping us drive our mission. I just wanted to quickly talk about the link between volunteerism and the Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals really are one of the most innovative frameworks when it comes to development. We started off with the Millennial Development Goals, and we've evolved to now what are the SDGs. And we have an ambitious agenda of ensuring that these goals are achieved to a large extent by 2030, which is really not that far off. We're now in 2025, so they're really 5 years away. Now you can pitch your tent as volunteers across one or more of the 17 goals. And of course, depending on the organization that you also are volunteering for, most organizations would also have structured their programming along the lines of the SDGs. So what connects, you volunteerism and the SDGs? It gives an opportunity for you to raise awareness about your selected SDG. It also gives, the opportunity to build relevant skills and share expertise along, one or more of the goals. Also, obviously, provides the opportunity for mobilizing communities and resources, to build this catalytic change that we talk about around the goals. So, I mean, I'll make my slides available so you can just go through them. And I think that's important that we do take some time to understand, to make ourselves familiar with the 17 goals and see which of them resonates with us, because it's in that way of picking one or two. Of course, 17 talks about partnerships and collaboration, that we can really begin to make the change that we want to see. So in conclusion, I just want to reemphasize the fact that volunteerism is a powerful tool for driving positive change. I want to celebrate you all for being here today and for taking this step, especially when it comes to YSIPS, an organization that we are all so passionate about. It really does great work and will do even more in this year and in the coming years, especially towards fulfilling some of the SDGs. And I wanted to just share with you some of the mottos that over my, the course of my life, especially my early years in school, that have shaped me to become really interested in this sector and in the idea of volunteerism. From being a brownie guide, lend a hand. From my days in secondary school, integrity and service, that was the motto of my school, International School Ibadan, integrity and service. And in my latter years of doing my A levels, ad majorem Dei gloriam, for the greater glory of God. And you can imagine putting these together, lend a hand, because in lending a hand, you build your integrity and you give service, and you do this for the greater glory of God. Isn't that an amazing way to shape a young girl from the ages of, say, age 7 right through to age 18? I think that sets you up for life, don't you think? So I want to encourage all of us to continue on our quest to make a difference. There's a lovely quote from Joanne Sunshine from her book, Finding Your Path to Impact, that says, making a difference means different things to different people. Everyone finds their fulfillment in different ways, at different speeds, and through various journeys. You may find that what you were looking for all along was the purpose of the journey in the first place. Follow your instincts, trust yourself, and find the confidence to test your assumptions. So I will leave you on that note and bid you well and in your voluntary journey with YSIPS and beyond over this year 2025. We're starting a new month, and I think it's fantastic that we're having this class, this masterclass on the 1st of February, which happens to be the best month of the year, in my opinion. So well done, good luck, and good luck to everyone. And if you have any questions, I think I can take a couple. Over to you, Gucci.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. Such an amazing session. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sure you guys were listening and you took down, lots of notes and, because my own notes is really full. I've been taking notes. So I'm sure every one of you took down notes. If you could just say one or two things, say a big thank you, first of all, to Fabia. Honestly, I didn't want you to stop, but obviously, you had to. But thank you so much. So let's give a round of applause to Fabia. Thank you so very much, Ma. Thank you. So if you can put in one or two words, one or two takeouts from this session, just drop that in the comment section and let's have that. Mine would be vision alignment. First of all, you spoke about vision alignment. You also talked about that as a volunteer, you don't get paid. It's not a salary job, right? So you're volunteering. It's not, you might get maybe some allowances here and there, but it's not, a place where you're coming in to get paid, to get, remuneration. That's another thing I took out. I also took out that volunteering is first a value to you as a volunteer. You first of all get that value, and then you're able to now give out value to other people, and so many of that. So I'll just read also from the comment section what people have also said. Um, I'll just have a look now. Ivory says, thank you. Helen says, thank you, ma'am. Rebecca says, thank you so much, ma. Ivory says, lend a hand with integrity and service for the greater glory of God. Good. Thank you. That was really good. Gladness says, thank you, ma. Akudo says, thank you. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you could just keep that coming. We'll take the questions as we can. Nandel says volunteering where you have passion. Honestly, that one really stuck to me because really burnouts are real, just like Fabia said. So really, when you have passion towards a particular cause, it is only easier for you to, lean towards that area, right? Of course, you'll get burnt out, but because it's somewhere where you have that natural affinity for, you strive better, for lack of a better word, in that space than when you just randomly decide to just go anywhere. So vision alignment and passion is really key to volunteering. Wow, fella has dropped a full note for us. I'll just read a few of the things that he said. So fella has said volunteerism is the practice of willingly offering time and skills to support a cause. Beautiful. organization or community without monetary compensation. That one is really key because some people will be like, let me come and work now, let me get paid. You're not getting paid. You probably might just get a stipend, but not necessarily getting paid. He also says he plays a crucial role in the third sector. Yeah, Fabia mentioned that I remember NGOs, civil society organization by bridging gaps between public and private sectors. I'll just read one more thing you said. He says volunteerism can start at any age, very key, even in primary school, and can take various forms throughout your life. I think we need to recognize Fela. Fela was he's a very good student. He was actively participating, actively listening. He's like
So Fela is my son, and I've got my two
wow.
sons join the call. I made them join, forced them.
Wow.
So they're showing me that they're on the call and they've taken notes and they're
Oh
listening.
my
So when we talk
God.
about
This
catching
is
them young, I
oh my
intend to
goodness.
do that. So
Wow. Wow. Wow.
so thank you.
This is so amazing. Thank you so much, Fela. I'll just read one last thing. So it says volunteer challenges in volunteering include time constraints, resource limitation, and burnout. Wow. 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 Fela, thank you. Awesome feedback. This is really amazing. Your note is even more full than mine. Honestly, I'm so impressed. Amazing, amazing feedback. Thank you so much. So if anyone else has, okay, Judith says choose organization that are aligned with your values. Very, very, very key. You really need to choose organizations. I remember also, Fabio also talked about purpose discovery because really in volunteering, you're able to now discover. Let's not forget that on this journey called life, we're in here. God has brought us here. There's a purpose why we are here, right? We're not just here to sit down and faff around. So by choosing an organization where you're passionate about, you can fulfill purpose on that journey to volunteering. Um, Twain says have a change makers mindset. That's a good one. Have a change makers. You know that as you're volunteering, you are bringing about change. Whether for a cause, you're bringing about change. It could be someone's life. You're making an impact in the community. You're stirring change. You're causing change to happen. So have a change makers mindset. Thank you so much, Oluwatoyin, for that one. Gladness says, um, as a vo has as a volunteer, find what your passion is and give in your all. Very important. It's really important to put in your best foot. Don't come in as, oh, you're just be coming with that excellent mindset to still give in the best that you can deliver on, right? She says, be willing to say yes to the work and challenges. Yeah, you might come in and you might just be thrown into like several aspects of the organization. Be willing to take on challenge, be willing to go that extra mile, right? Be willing to say yes at every point in time because you're volunteering, so you know what it takes. You already now you're in this session, you're understanding what it takes to become a volunteer. You're understanding how important it is to be a volunteer. So you know that at some point you're not getting paid for this thing. So you already have that mindset. So be willing to say yes whenever that challenge comes, whenever you're asked, oh, could you help with this project? Be willing to, deliver on it, be willing to, push ahead and go the extra mile. She also says it helps to put you on track and discover yourself. Absolutely correct. It helps you to put you on track and discover yourself. Very, very brilliant. Thank you so much, Gladness, for that feedback. Eunice says, for me, let your passion drive you so you don't get tired in the process. Absolutely true. Thank you so much. Let your passion drive you so you don't get tired in the process. The truth is when you have passion about something, it just comes natural for you, right? And so even if there'll be burnout, it's not something that would happen. Just that passion is just it's like a fuel, just like a car, a vehicle when you're driving. If there's no fuel in your car, the car cannot move. That's the same thing as passion. Passion drives you to want to do more, even at the points where you feel like, oh my, I think I'm tired. But because you have that love, that passion for that thing, you're willing to still push, to still go forward, to still, go that extra mile. And that is really what, as a volunteer, you should be able to align your personal goal, your passion to the area and the cause that you want to or you are volunteering towards. Thank you so much, everyone, for your feedback. I really now I know that you guys were actively listening, taking notes, which is really key, for this particular workshop that we have this weekend. Thank you so much, Fabia. Thank you. Another round of applause for Fabia in the comment section. Thank you so very much. Honestly, I really got a lot of insights from your presentation, and I really want to thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. Okay, I'll just read this last one. Denny Bosayo says volunteerism helps develop problem-solving skills, absolutely, by effectively utilizing scarce resources to create meaningful impact. I like that part where it says scarce resources, because the truth is, as an NGO, there's sometimes where you might not have it all, you might not have all the resources available at your disposal. All right, but the ability to be able to use what you have to still create and to still make an impact in the community or in someone else's life, I think that's really, really important. Thank you so much, Busayo, for that feedback. I think we're just right on time to introduce our second speaker for today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. Thank you, Ma. Thank you. So we'll just call on we'll introduce our next speaker for today. Just give me a minute. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. I'm so glad for this. I'm really, really happy to be here today. Honestly, I'm so happy to be here. I couldn't have missed out on this session. Really power packed. So we'll just call on our second speaker for today, and it is no other person than our executive director, Mrs. Ivory Emeka Ogogo. So I'll just read her profile quickly. And then we can get right into the session. Thank you. Ivy Emeka is a certified social impact coach and nonprofit consultant on a mission to raise the next generation of change makers and visionary leaders to drive sustainable development through social impact initiatives and lead with moral integrity for progress and nation building. She's an advocate for youth, women, and girls empowerment, and a founder and executive director of YSIPS Foundation, a youth-focused nonprofit organization with the vision to raise highly productive young African leaders for global impact. Under her leadership, YSIP's foundation has emerged as a vital force, driving change by empowering Nigeria's youths to unlock their full potential with initiatives spanning education, entrepreneurship, mentoring, and leadership development. YSIPS tackles critical challenges such as lack of access to quality education, unemployment, and limited leadership development opportunities for African youth. She's a multiple award winner, recognized both locally and internationally for her outstanding contributions to the development of African youth. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can just go out in the chat room, just give a very big welcome to Mrs. Ivory Emeka Ogogwa. She takes us on the second session for today. Welcome, Ivory. Over to you. Let's welcome her, guys.
Thank you so much. Which I'm going to penalize you because how have you worked with me for 7 years and you don't know how to pronounce my surname? I put it to
That's
you
true.
that
Ogwa, you keep correcting me.
you will start your volunteering from the start. You will start again. Hi everyone, thank you so much. So the surname is Emeka Ogwa. Don't mind her. And amazing session with Fabia. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's great to have everybody here. Like, thank you so much for being here. I mean, this is family, right? And we have some few new intending family members and maybe friends of the family. I don't know what category you wish to be identified with, but we're glad to have you here. And I'm super excited because this is really just a leap of faith, right? Like this program, what we're doing here today is not like we sat down and had like a Vision 2020 plan. It just came up and we're like, okay, let's do this. There is a growing need, to get, young people trained and all of that. And we put this together, which is pretty much a taste of what is to come. So good, you can remove my wonderful profile now from the screen share. Thank you so much. So very quickly, I'm going to be talking to us. On the topic of social impact leadership, right? And allow me to share my slide. Okay, so before I move in, so I'm a very interactive person. I have a lot of energy and I like, the energy to go back and forth whenever I'm teaching. So I like to, get feedback. Does anybody have an idea of what social impact leadership is? I will just go back to the call. So if you know what social impact leadership is, I'd like to read from you. Oguchi, you can help me read out as the responses come because I can't see as I'm sharing. Just one or two people. What do you think social impact leadership is? What does it mean to you? And again, this call is so we have a mix of people, volunteers, our old members, and of course, people who are just interested in getting trained. Okay, so tell us, what does social impact leadership mean to you? So if we have one response, I can move on.
All right, guys, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's have it in the chat box.
And please don't give me ChatGPT answer. Please, I beg you. I beg you, don't give me Google. Just tell me off the top of your head, right? I know every one of you has an idea. That's why you're here. And that's why you're volunteering. And that's why you're probably doing whatever you do. Just tell me what you think it is. Okay, I'll be able to read.
Okay, I think Shalom, someone has said something. Shalom says impact of leadership on different categories of people.
Okay, impact of leadership on different categories of people. Thank you so much, Shalom. Thank you. Okay, so I'll just move straight to it. I heard somebody say, I was in a training earlier this week. Okay, I think we have a second person and they're
Yeah, we have someone
coming.
else. Gladness says, from my own understanding, it's a leadership mindset that drives passion and commitment to making impact in the society.
Hmm.
Nandel says, social impact leadership, how mean
Can
how
mean,
you can contribute to the society. I guess that's what she's trying to say.
yeah. Okay. Oh, everybody nice. Like everybody has an idea of what it is. Yes, it's not far from what we're saying. I think the closest to it would be gladness definition. They just being able to cause an impact. You're committed to making an impact in the society, driven by passion, by vision, by mission, whatever it is. But the end point is that you're doing something that impacts society, that makes the world a better place. So I was in a training earlier this week and I heard something that blew my mind. And the speaker said something, and he said, if you're indifferent, you cannot make a difference. And I was like, whoa, like it really caught me. So maybe that's my first punchline to you. If you're indifferent, you cannot make a difference. And that's why it resonated with me, because at the heart of social impact is the fact that you're seeing a problem and you can't sit still about it, right? You want to do something about it. So there are different categories of people, when it comes to problems and, social causes and all of that. There are those people who would complain, those people who know how to curse and swear and tell Tinubu how he's going to go to hellfire and all of those things, and how it will not be well with all the Nigerian and politicians and all of that. Yeah, there are those categories of people, and there are those people who will actually sit down, analyze the issues over a bottle of beer or over a plate of pizza or something, box of pizza. There are those guys, and there are people who would actually get up and do something, right? People who would do something. They are seeing an aching need in the society. They are seeing something that is going wrong in the society and they want to do something about it. That is what social impact leadership is about. So if you're on this call, it tells me that you have identified a problem and is paining you in a way that you want to actually begin to do something about it. What is not is that it's not another avenue to shine. It's not a part where you can now get all the multiple awards in the world. Maybe if your own is Nobel Peace Prize, that's why you want. It's good. Right? I mean, all those awards, all those recognitions, very important. So it's good, right? But it's not the start point of this social impact journey. Okay, so here we have my definition of social impact. And I said it's leading with a purpose beyond profit. Yes. So when we talk about social impact leadership, we're talking about leadership that is purpose driven, leadership that is not driven by what I will get, leadership that is driven by what I can give, right? So social impact leadership is thinking about what I can give, what I can do, what I can, what I can offer to make society a better place or to improve the life of a certain demography of people, a certain people group. Okay, it's about driving positive change in communities, organizations, and the world. So for me, you may start, I always say that, it's okay to start, and I like, what's his name, the chess guy now, Tunde Onokoya, right? And he says one of his mantras, I think his most popular mantra is that you can do big things from a small place, something like that. And I absolutely love it because, yes, to do big things, people that do big things did not start big. They will tell you. If I'm using him as a case study and every other person that has become, a household name, so to say, right now, when they were striving 20 years ago, nobody knew them. Do you understand? Nobody knew them. And maybe at that point, they didn't even think they'll become as big as they are now. But all they had was a vision. All they had was passion for change. All they had was a commitment to cause a positive change. And we see a Tunde Onokoya, it really just the same chess that people are playing over a bottle of beer, right? Chess and draft. Okay, it's draft that they usually play. For all of them, people are playing it for leisure. But somehow this guy was able to find a higher purpose, a higher meaning, and attached it to that chess play. And today we've seen how he's revolutionizing, and giving access to education, giving or travel opportunities. I was looking at his page and there are some young people who are going to be in Germany now, courtesy of, his, chess in school or chess in slums initiative. So that's a typical example. And when he started, NTN assigned him as a brand ambassador. Do you think he started that with brands that, of course not, I can tell you because I'm also on that part. What drives every social impact leader is either vision, and like I said, yeah, it's a mix of your vision, it's a mix of empathy, and then of course you bring strategy into it. So first thing is that you have a vision for change. You want to bring about a positive change, emphasis on positive, because there is negative change too. Change. We experienced it in Nigeria some years back, and we are still, that change has refused to change, move away from what it is. But God will help us. So positive change, you must have a vision for what you want to achieve. You must be driven by empathy. There is nobody in the social sector space that is not a kind person. There is not a person that is driven by compassion. There is not somebody, who wants, who is a loving person. I think that that's one thing about social impact people that work in the social sector. One thing is that they are nice people. Not necessarily nice, but they are good natured. They have a good heart. And but all those your big vision, that your good nature has to be balanced with strategy because you need strategy to move. You need to be able to shut the door. You need to be able to put an action to all those the door. You need to be able to put an action to all those things that you have in your head. So we are talking about social change. We're talking about environmental change. We're talking about tackling economic challenges. Okay, so next slide. So who is a social impact leader? A social impact leader is someone who drives, so this is the person in action, someone who drives positive, meaningful change in the society by addressing social, environmental, and economic challenges. So a social impact leader is somebody who is practicing social impact leadership, right? So you're that person who is doing all the things that I have described. You're someone that leads with purpose. You're someone that leads with empathy. You have a strategy for the work that you want to do, and you're working to create long-term solutions rather than temporary fixes. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I do a bit of teaching around the social sector space every Tuesday. I drop my Dear Change Maker love notes, and I talk about these things. And I think one of the times I spoke about, you know, the difference between welfare projects and empowerment projects. Go back. Welfare projects and empowerment projects. And the difference is sustainability. So for social impact leaders, and of course, that's why we also, you know, teach a lot around the sustainable development goals, you know, talking sustainability, because you can do a social impact project that is not sustainable, and that's not it might, you know, I mean, it might do a good work, but we're talking about long-term change, the one that can actually cause a revolution, that can actually cause a long-term change, improve, you know, the condition of living or whatever cause it is that you're pursuing. So where a social impact leader is more focused on that long-term than the temporary fixes. Charity people, the charity is a part of social impact, but there is philanthropy, there is, you know, all those things. These are some of the things you're going to be learning when you sign up for the Changemakers program. Like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We have a full course we have developed, and we'll be rolling out, you know, doing a call for application by Monday. So you want to actually get on the Changemakers program, because that's where you get to learn in depth. So yeah, so a few traits of a social impact leader. And when I'm mentioning these things, I want you to check yourself if these traits define you, or if there are some things that you can find in yourself amongst the things that are here. So the first thing is that a social impact leader is purpose driven. And what does that mean? It means that you're committed to a cause that is beyond personal or financial gain. So I'm laughing because myself, Ugochi, everybody that volunteers with YC, that has been volunteering with YC, oh my God. In fact, I remember when I started YC, my husband was just, every time he would just shake his head, because the little money that you have, like the one that you're even complaining you don't have, is what you're carrying. And, you know, there was that. I mean, I would always say that my sips is not paying me, at least not yet. Maybe it will pay us in the future. We are the ones giving, sweating, crying. Sometimes I'm paying school fees for scholarship beneficiaries. My own children have not finished paying school fees. It's crazy. But there is something that drives me, and it's definitely not personal or financial gain. And speaking about all these awards and recognitions that seem to be coming up now in trickles, when I started, in fact, I was doing it like a thief in the night. I didn't care about social media. I didn't care about all of those things. It was when we now maybe took courses and understood the importance of putting yourself out there and the work that you do, so that you can attract funding and collaboration opportunities. That's how, you know, we really just decided to come out. Otherwise, I'm okay on a personal note doing what I'm doing without caring who gets the glory. So that's the thing, because I'm driven by something that is higher than my personal or financial gain. The second thing is that a social impact leader is empathetic. So it talks about empathy. You feel, you're a feeler, you know how to, you can connect with people's struggles, you can connect with people's, you know, struggles, you can connect with, you know, the issues going on and how it's impacting the lives of people. But beyond empathy, there's also a sense of inclusivity. You're somebody that knows how to gather. You don't discriminate. You know how to bring together. You're someone that, you know, values diverse perspectives, okay? You don't just understand it, you value it. And that's why we are big on diversity and inclusion, even on our team here at Y6. You're also a systems thinker. If you're a social impact leader, you're able to see the bigger picture, and you're able to tackle root causes of issues. So, and that's one of the things anybody that works with me will tell you, and I can think on my feet. I'm thinking of ideas. This morning I'd already sent to go to a long voice, like telling her, okay, for this program, we're restructuring, that's it. You must be a thinker. You must know how to think system structures and all of those things, because you would need it to deploy your initiative. But the main point there is that you're able to see the bigger picture. So the Y6 that we have today is not the Y6. You know, I remember the day I kind of like shared the big picture, the vision with, you know, the team members, and I got a lot of feedback like, wow, now we see it, man. Some of them were now saying, hey, now I see why I came to YC, because I can connect with the bigger picture. But when I shared it, I'm like, but it's not, it may not, I mean, we are taking baby steps to get there, but we are seeing all the societal issues. So from scholarship, one of them is that, yes, we're giving scholarships, but we actually want our planning, it's part of our vision to own a world state of the art school that is not just focused on academic, but total child development. So that's one of our big pictures. So if that's a vision that you think you have, you want to also connect with us and stay with us. Then the fourth thing is that you're innovative and adaptive, okay? You're somebody that can think up solutions. And of course, if you're not an innovative person, I can't say you're a social impact leader because innovation is part of what we do. The solutions that we bring out to solve social problems, social issues, it had to do with a lot of thinking, creative thinking, okay? And you also know how to navigate challenges effectively. Then you're collaborative, and collaboration is one of this. I think SDG 17 talks about partnerships for the goals, very important. I see a lot of social impact leaders make this mistake. My vision, my NGO, my goal. I remember when we started and I met with a friend that, does a similar work with young people. And I was like, okay, I see where our vision aligns with our mentoring program because we also do a lot of work. We run a personal and leadership development program for young people. And I reached out, I said, why don't we partner? Okay, let's join forces together. And like after one day, she said, no. So what's the problem? Like I came with a very open heart. What's the problem? And she didn't give me a reason. So I just knew that was the issue. Everybody wanting to just be boss and, and it's not bad. If it works for you and you have all the resources to do all the work, why not? If not, okay. But collaboration will help you a lot. There are a lot of policymakers that you can connect with in your social impact work. You have all these ideas, but there are people that also have access to rooms. There are organizations that have the funding. There are communities that will give you. Collaboration is just it. So you must also be somebody that is open to collaboration. And then you're resilient and ethical. Okay, you know how to stay committed because there are times where I've woken up and I'm like, oh my God, who sent me? In fact, I'm sure everybody Gochi is laughing. We all have this like because when you check, I've not even bought hair for myself in like 1 year. What's going on? All my money is going to social impact. Others are like, look at how much we need for this project. And like, who's saying? You're looking at the bank account. You're like, where are we starting from? Where are we going? Or one thing that happens to us a lot. So once the end of the year, the burnout is real. Like everyone is just using their last and now we're trying to see how we can decentralize or spread out our programs and projects so that we're not burning out at that towards the end of the year. It was so bad for me then when we started, I think the first 3 years, that by the time we dropped the pen for each year, January, February, it would take me maybe up until like ending of February to start saying, hey, I would have work paralysis. It was that bad. Like I would have work steady on a steady basis, at least once a year. But now we know better, so we are putting systems and structures in place. But you definitely are going to need to put like a very hard, because you have to be resilient. And in your resilience, you have to stay ethical. You have to be a person of integrity because when funders give you money, you want to be able to account for the money. There's a lot to do with the money, right? So I don't even see why you should be siphoning money in the first place. So if you're someone that doesn't have financial integrity, you better go and sort that out before you start thinking of coming into the social sector space because you can't tell stories. But beyond money, there are other things that you would test your integrity, right? And you want to stay true to the cause. Okay. So here are some examples of social impact leaders. So there are 4 types of social impact leaders across 4 sectors. So we have the nonprofit leaders, and I gave an example. My humble self, I'm a nonprofit leader because I'm pushing my cause through my nonprofit, YSIPS Foundation. We have the social entrepreneurs. So again, number 1 is the nonprofit leaders. And typical example is what we are doing here at YSIPS. And if you know Malala Yousafzai, who has the Malala Fund, the Pakistani lady. Yes, she's also in there. A lot of them, so you don't even need to look at them. We have the social entrepreneurs. So we have the Tony Elumelu, who is the founder of Tony Elumelu Foundation. You have Okochan Kem, who is a mama. So the difference between nonprofit leaders and social entrepreneurs is that for a nonprofit, we're not like we can't make money. We rely solely on grants, donor agencies, sponsorships, donations, crowdfunding. For social enterprises, they can actually run an enterprise, a business, but the business that they're running, what is at the heart of their business is to solve a social problem. So they're not in business to make money per se, even though they can make money, but they're in business first to solve a problem. So you see a lot of those kind of people that are doing a lot of recycling, work around the clean energy and all of those things. Okochan Kem, Mama Money Africa. She does a lot of empowerment, women empowerment stuff. Of course, she's making money from it. However, at the heart of what she's doing is to empower, women and all of that. Then we have the corporate impact leaders and corporate impact leaders. So, within the organization, there's something called corporate social responsibility. So if you're a professional here and maybe you work in an organization that does like corporate project, right? Corporate social responsibility project, the people that head those units are called corporate impact leaders, right? So these are people that are also like social impact leaders, but they deploy their service in a for-profit business. So you would see them, their business is purely business, but they have corporate social responsibility arm. So a lot of oil and gas organizations have this arm, a lot of organizations, and every business should actually have a CSR unit and a CSR project. But there's a lot of talk around that. So the people that actually drive those corporate social responsibility projects within for-profit organizations are the people we call corporate impact leaders. And then we have the policy and advocacy leaders. So case in point, well, there are a lot of them. Wole Soyinka, and I think he does a lot of advocacy and policy work around human rights and good governance and all of that. And this guy that was recently thrown into jail, what's his name? I've forgotten. But the guy that is pushing, really talking big up, like really, really fighting bad governance in Nigeria, and they're trying to make him. There are a lot of policy. What's her name? I don't know why their names are skipping my head. The very popular one that they now you during the election. What's her name? That there is a symbol right now with her name. What's her name? Who knows her name? Who can remind me? She's a lady that, I mean,
Is that Aisha Yesufu?
yes, thank you. Aisha Yusufu. She's the one. So she's a typical advocacy leader. So these people are very vocal. They are talking about, how to, enact policies that can advance, development or can improve one social cause or the other. And these people are very vocal. They don't keep quiet. What you call them activists. That's this kind of people. They're the people you call activists. What's his name? Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, of course. Those are the popular people. So moving on, I have a question for you because I need to run now. If you could summarize why you want to create. So if you look at these people, of course, the names that you can identify. I have a lot of questions I could ask you, but again, because we're trying to keep to time so that we can finish everything we have for today. Like I said, we have a standard program which you need to enroll for so that you can get proper training on this social sector development topic. So if you could summarize why you want to create social impact in one sentence, what would it be? So I'm going to be reading from you guys. So I'm throwing this question. Why social impact? Why social sector? Why are you here? What's your reason? What's your reason? Why do you want to make a social impact in one sentence? Let's go. And we have 20 seconds to put it down. If you could summarize why you want to create social impact in one sentence, what would it be? So tell me your why. So this question simply says, what is your why for considering social sector development work? To create a ripple effect. Interesting. Okay. Because I'll let you read out the comments. Thank you, Oluwatife. So I need to understand what you mean by to create a ripple effect. It's a bit ambiguous, so help me bring it down. What do you mean by create a ripple effect?
Okay, so while we're waiting for Boluwatife to just break that down a little bit, Gladness uses one word and she says empathy.
That one, Gladness is obviously a charity. She's a philanthropist. And I love it because they're the charity people, but it's good. Of course, as a social impact person, empathy is one of the things you need. All right, who else?
Nandel says to contribute to social development.
Okay, all right. Okay, nice. You guys I like your whys. I like your whys. Boluwatife, I still want to understand what you
Oh
mean.
yeah,
So
she's just coming now. She says to allow people to take control of their lives and teach others how to do that.
Okay, so I hear beyond what you're saying, I hear that you have a personal experience that is, influencing your wife. Very sure, but it's good. Social impact is really just yes. Help people take control of their lives. Help people, empower people to be able to improve their standard of living, to be able to just take charge of their lives. And I like the bit about teaching others to do the same. Yes, so paying it forward, not just doing that. They do it for you, you get on your feet, and then you're helping somebody else get their lives back. Okay, I can see them solving real
Yeah.
world problems and motivate younger generations to be value driven, powerful. We all to impact lives. Awesome. For the sake of the future generations, there's still hope for our nation amidst the happenings. I love it. So we all have a good and positive why. Okay. So thank you so much for the feedback. And yes, you're on the right track. So from the why, we move to the question of the how. So you have all of these wonderful reasons for wanting to do social impact work. Let me move this away. But there is a how to, because if you don't know how to even get started, and that's one of the reasons we're having this call, it's going to be a problem. So how do you even start your journey? How do you start your journey? So one of the ways to start your day is to even identify what the social problem you want to solve and the cause of that social problem. So the first way to even begin your journey as a social impact leader is by identifying which social problem you want to solve and what caused that social problem. So I wrote here that understanding the root causes of social issues is crucial for designing sustainable solutions. Yes, you must understand, what caused the problem that you're so burdened about, okay? So that you can create sustainable solutions. So if you know how we got here, we will know how to get out of the situation. So that's what this is saying. So if we know how we even got to this point so in Nigeria, somebody will say it's bad leadership, bad governance. Some people will say it's lack of moral values. Some people will say it's greed. People have their different reasons. And there are so many reasons why a social issue is, prevails in a society. Okay, but you have to first be able to identify. So I want to ask you, every one of you on the call, what's that one social problem that you're passionate about and you want to solve? In one sentence, just keep it one problem. What's that one problem? One. Sexual abuse, period poverty. Awesome. Okay, so we see a lot of gender-based issues. Okay, who else? Poverty. Vivian, awesome. Okay, who else? Thank you so much, guys. Let's keep it coming. Women selling themselves short. Okay, amazing. Women selling themselves short. Okay, we have child education. Okay, ignorance. Shalom says ignorance. Ignorance is a bit ambiguous also because you can be ignorant about different things, right? So ignorance is relative. So I want to understand what you mean by ignorance. Ignorance is relative. I don't know how to use I don't know how to use Power BI in tech. I'm ignorant now. Does it mean there is a social problem? My not knowing how to use Power BI is not a social problem. So let me understand what you mean by ignorance. Single parenthood, okay? Illiteracy, awesome. Okay, all right. So we all know what so if I ask you, how did those problems come to be? What would you say? So let's hear financial independence struggle. Awesome. Thank you, guys. So now we're moving to the next phase of the question. This your issue that you have listed out. How do you think it came to be? What do you think is the root cause of it? One sentence. Can use one word. Fine. So what do you think is the root cause of illiteracy? What do you think is the root cause of financial struggles, poverty? Empowerment is the root cause. No, what is the root cause? Why is there I think it was Vivian that said poverty. What caused the poverty is what I'm asking. So we are in class, so what caused the poverty? It's not only poverty, every one of us that's answered. It starts with the mindset or how the women were trained from home. Okay, is this for the issue of women selling themselves short? Mindset, okay, government negligence towards children in rural areas. Okay, awesome. Well, one more and I'll move to my next. Is my time up? How many minutes do I have? 5 minutes, I believe. It can be a lack of opportunity. Awesome. Okay, so we all have an idea. Okay, the last one came through. Lack of mentorship in the career world. Absolutely, that's a big problem. All right, so let's see. So for you to identify the root causes of social issues in the social impact space, there are two major frameworks that we use. Again, when you want to start out your journey, you should be able to do this thing. You know, it's called you should do your, so there are a lot of ways, there are a lot of words that we use to, but what you need to do is your needs analysis. You must do that. You must do your needs analysis. You can't just run off. Just like somebody saying, oh, I want to handle period poverty, and you're coming to Lekki to do a period, Lekki, Lagos, and you're coming to Lekki to do a period, I mean Lekki like the real Lekki, where the upwardly mobile people. Your period poverty project may not be very relevant because those guys have money. They can afford pads. They don't have an issue with getting pads. Do you understand? So you see somebody coming to a Lekki to go and do a project around period poverty. It doesn't make sense unless you're trying to address people that are living in this, so those people that are living that cannot access it. So you must, identify your issues. Okay, maybe I'm going into core teaching. Okay, let me speak with the framework. So there are two frameworks that we use to identify social problems. And I just wanted to chip in this so you will live with something practical. And there are the two frameworks that are largely used in the social impact space is the 5 whys method and the problem tree analysis. Now, this is not just the social sector space that this is used. It's actually used across sectors, but it's very prevalent in the social sector space. So you want to identify the root causes of social problems, want to identify social problems themselves. These are the two frameworks that are largely used in the social sector space. So the 5 why methods, who has heard about the 5 why methods before? Who has an idea of what it is? Okay, because of time, I'll run. So the 5 why method is simple. It's just a tool that involves asking why 5 times or more until you identify the root cause of a problem. So it's simple how it works. First of all, you state a problem. I'm going to give an example. You state a problem, you ask the first why. Why is this problem here? Then when you have an answer of why the problem is here, you ask why that answer is. You keep asking until you get to the root cause. So take the answer, ask why again, keep asking the why until you get to the root. So I'll give you an example in my next slide. So this is a typical example. So why students, okay, it even ties with one of somebody's passion. Why students in rural communities drop out of school? So you see the first why. Why? Because they have to work to support their families. Let's assume that that's the first obvious why. So the first why is they have to work to support their families. And then say, why do they have to work to support their families? Second why. Because their families cannot afford basic needs. The third why can their families not afford basic needs? Because they have limited income resources. That's number 3 why. We now move to the fourth why. Why do they have limited income resources? Because there are few employment opportunities. Okay, why are there few employment opportunities? Because there is no infrastructure for business development. Now you can continue to ask this why. The real essence of asking this why is till you get to the point where you can see the one that you can begin to solve. So let's say that, I mean, if there is an infrastructure problem and all that, you may not be able to solve an infrastructure problem, but you may be able to stop at that fourth why where you have few employment opportunities. Okay, I can begin to, train people on vocational training, get them, hard skills that they can, vocational skills that they can, bankable and monetizable skills that they can, marketable skills that they can use to earn a living. That's where you start your own work from. Because they have limited income resources, okay, maybe they even have one source of income. How do we get them to spread their income source? Can begin to teach on multiple, how to financial, I don't know, but bring a lecture there on, multiple income opportunities. That's one. Because they're so removable, but you have to ask this why until you get to the root cause. Now, for this problem, we see that the seemingly root cause is that there are no infrastructure for business development. And because there are not enough infrastructure, employment opportunity is low, okay? And because employment opportunity is low, people are not getting jobs, so they don't have income sources. And because they don't have income sources, their family, they can't make money to provide basic needs for their family. And because they cannot make money, they cannot support their families, and they cannot see their children through school. So we see that the root cause that we have identified by asking these 5 questions, 5 whys, is lack of economic opportunities that leads to school dropouts. And of course, the solution is to provide economic empowerment programs for families. So this is how to use the first framework, the 5 why method. Very easy. And this framework is used when you want to just get your answer very quickly for maybe simpler social issues. Now, the second one is the problem tree analysis. Okay, so you see a tree by the right side. You see the tree has symptoms at the top. At the trunk area, you see it has root cause. And then at the bottom where the root side, you see that we have the analysis. Okay, so the problem tree analysis is a visual tool used to break down complex social issues into causes and effects. So this particular one is used to analyze more complex social issues. It helps in structuring problems logically and identifying key intervention points. So when, the why helps us to answer like very quickly, sharp questions, we can ask those questions and get to the answer. But when we are dealing with more complex social issues, as we'll get to see in the example, that's when we need to pull out, sorry, my slide is freezing. That's when we need to pull out the problem tree analysis. So you're saying that I want to do social sector work. You need a lot of knowledge, because the reason why some projects or some organizations are not able to scale is because of limited knowledge. They don't even know what they're doing. You can start off with charity and passion, just want to help the needy, but there's a lot more, about social sector space, and you need to get the right training for it. Okay, so how does it work? So when we are using the problem tree analysis, you simply draw a tree that has the branches, that has the roots, and that has the trunk. Now, the tree will have 3 sections, like you can see. The trunk, which is the brown part of this tree on my screen, is where you talk about the main problem. So you're writing the core social issue in the center. So let's say period poverty is the supposed main problem, okay? At the root, that's why we now go and write the causes of the problem. So you're listing the underlying root causes of the problem. So period poverty, the underlying root cause is financial constraint, lack of access to period essentials, whatever, or even lack of awareness, right? So period poverty, some people don't even know. There are regions where they don't even know, maybe they may not even know that pad exists, that they're probably using back of leaf or something. Those days, our mothers, before pad became prevalent, they used to use, I think they used to use tissue. They will now wrap it inside, they will use wrapper. They will wrap tissue, then they will now put a wrapper on top, and then they will use it. That was the part. And that's like a way, we're talking about saving, a greener way of driving a social change. Some people are back to that. They have reusable hats and stuff. That's not my area, but just to mention that. Okay, so when you have identified the root causes, then what's the impact of this problem? What are the effects? And the effects are the things that we are seeing. So, for example, kidnapping or Yahoo fraud, internet fraud, and all of those things. Those are the effects of a problem. And many times when you ask those people, why are you into Yahoo? They'll tell you, I find joy, tire, I know see. So you see that unemployment is a cause, a root cause. Okay, thank you, Gucci. Unemployment and all of that. But when you do it like this, you're able to analyze. Now, when you have written out your main problem, the causes of the problem, and the effects of the problem, you now analyze the connection between the causes and the effects. Okay? You analyze the problem between the causes and the effects, and then you identify the key leverage points to address root causes. So this involves a lot of analysis, like we call it problem tree analysis. Means that you have to put a lot of thought into it. There's a lot of discussion. There's a lot of dissecting, emptying, like you would peel an onion. There's a lot, and that's why they use it for more complex social problems. And you can even use it for simpler social problems. Okay, but for simpler social problems, you can always ask your why questions. So an example for high youth unemployment. Okay, so some of the root causes that I've identified for high youth unemployment, we have poor education quality. So the quality of education is low. So I've heard some social impact people say the problem is not even unemployment. I volunteered at an organization, NGAP Consulting or NGAP Resources, and the problem they were trying to tackle was unemployability, not even unemployment. They said there are jobs, but the average Nigerian graduate is unemployable. And I can attest to that because I went to a state university and I would be in class, you see people that cannot even spell. For God's sake, how did someone get to university without knowing how to spell, without knowing how to read? So you see that problem. So that organization was tackling, we're doing a lot of capacity development, a lot of after like adult education, to just get Nigerian youth to become employable. Okay, so there's that poor education, quality of education. There is no lack of vocational training. So because if people have skills, both the digital skills that are trending now and even the regular vocational skills, you know how to make shoes, make bags, I have a classmate that is a graduate, but so tomorrow she's cashing out with, she makes all these beads, all those, what they call it, this thing that we fascinators, all those things, accessories, basically. And then of course there's the discrimination in hiring, who knows who. So and it's a thing, yes, because they will tell you that most of the jobs that they advertise, the roles are already filled, that they just do that, let it be a seat. They care about you. So you identify some of the problems, then you see the effects it has had. Now we have increased crime rates, we're having kidnapping on the rise, we're having ritual killing on the rise, we're having Yahoo on the rise, we're having prostitution because there is no job anywhere according to them. Even though I always say that, that there is no job is not an excuse to go and do bad things. There are people that don't have jobs that are not doing bad things. It boils down to the value. And that's why we take our mentoring program very, very seriously. Okay, so when you have identified these issues, the effects, the root causes, you can now begin to profile a problem. So one of the key takeaways from this analysis is that when you provide vocational training and education, it may be a leverage point to reduce unemployment. So providing vocational training, people now have skills that they can use, monetizable skills. When you improve the standard of education in Nigeria, because one thing to have education, another thing to have access to quality education. So those things can help. So which of the frameworks should you use? So you use the 5 whys when you need, like I said before, when you need to do a quick way, drill down into a root cause. So you're very fast, very easy for simpler projects. And of course, you use the problem tree analysis when you're dealing with a more complex problem, okay? So I have a classwork for you. This is a case study. So you're going to choose one, and I would actually leave it open. You're going to choose one out of the 3 social causes, social issues I've written below. And I want you to apply. So for today, we're going to apply the 5 why method. It's an easier one, and so that we can move to the next speaker for today. Okay, so I have 3 social issues for you. The first one is high dropout rates in school. So we see every day we're seeing a lot of young people dropping out of school. Then we have the issue of food insecurity. in urban areas, and we have gender equality in the workplace. So out of these three, I want you to choose one and apply the 5 why method to each of them. So remember that the 5 why asks the first question of why is there high dropout rates in school? So yeah, or why is there food insecurity in urban areas? So, or why is there, one of the reasons that we have food in urban is because there are not a lot of farmers or farmlands. So the rural areas are the people doing the farming, the urban areas are not farming. So of course, food is not going round, basically. And before it maybe gets to it, have spoiled. Okay. So gender equality, inequality in the workplace. So, and I'm gonna give you, I don't know if we have 10 minutes. I don't think we have. Do we have 10 minutes for this, Ugochi? I think we should work with 5 minutes. It's actually very easy.
Yeah.
So what I need you to do is put your 5 whys in the chat box. I'm actually done. After this classwork, I'm done. So let's get your 5 whys. So I expect everybody to do this exercise because this is a workshop, right? And that's why we called it a workshop. We want you to be able to practice some of these things. So if you have your answer, you can put it for me, your 5 whys, your 5 whys, your 5 whys. And I may have a gift for the first person that drops an answer that makes sense. So who is it going to be? We have our next speaker in the house. So how do we even know that you're doing it? You can phone a friend. Okay, do we have somebody that is done? Okay, let's see. So you need to give me 5 whys, please. 5. It has to be 5. Shalom, well done. Okay, but Shalom, please make it 5. The minimum is 5. The minimum is 5 to get to the root cause. The minimum is 5. So high dropout rate in school, personal problems. Okay, okay, so they're dropping out of school because of their personal issues. Why are they having personal issues? Because of family responsibilities. Why are they having family responsibilities? Because somebody in their family has a health challenge. Why does somebody in their family? So, okay, so I need you to do this, do it well, do it well. Shalom, do it well for me. And do it well for me. Do it well. Because some of your answers are similar. They're not, they're similar. Okay, but it's a great attempt. So why do they have the health challenge? Because now your health challenge, you're saying mental health issues. You're just telling me what the health challenge. So the number 4 and number 3 are 1, if you ask me. Okay. So why do they have, so let's assume that the health challenge they have is mental health issues, and they're having mental health because they are having a trauma. Why do they have that trauma? Because they were abused, molested. Okay, so a round of applause for Shalom for making the first attempt. Do I have a second attempt? Hey. Okay, Rose says, why is there food in, okay, but let me let you read it, please.
Okay, first of all, after Shalom, we had Rose. Rose says, why is there food insecurity in urban areas? That's what Rose has. If you want me to go to the next one, I'll just read that out.
No, read out what's her answers, everything.
No, she just got okay. So she says, why is there food insecurity in urban areas? Many urban residents cannot afford sufficient and nutritious food. Why can't they afford sufficient and nutritious food? The cost of living is high and wages may be low or unstable. Why are wages low or unstable? Many urban jobs are informal or poorly paid, and unemployment rates are high. Why are many jobs informal or poorly paid? There is limited economic growth, lack of skills training, and job opportunities in high-paying sectors. Why is there limited economic growth and job opportunities? Poor government policies, inadequate infrastructure, and lack of investment in sustainable industries. Wow,
That is how to do
this,
it.
this is
Exactly.
amazing.
A round of applause. So, Shalom, don't worry, I'll give you a gift for making at least attempting, but this is exactly how you use. Remember that what we want, you want to identify the root. So you need to be able to critically answer each question. Why is this? And the way Rose has listed them out, that's how you can. Okay, Nandel, you're ending your own with the Nandel is very funny. Okay, I like that. Why do people drop out of school? Poverty. Why do they drop out of? Why are they poor? Lack of employment. Why is there lack of employment? Bad governance. Okay. Why is there bad governance? Greedy leaders. Why rig election? Very apt. Very very apt. So that's it, guys. Well done, guys. I mean, you guys on that. Please, a round of applause for all yourselves. And please keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. We still have some time. Go check our time up. Please let us know because I'm done actually. Okay,
We have
gender
about
equality.
4 more
Please let me
minutes.
read. I was hoping someone would do gender inequality. Okay, great. So we have cultural bias. Why is there cultural bias? Because family background or upbringing. Okay, yes, because in the families, that's where they start telling you that men are equal more than women are lesser than men. So you belong to the kitchen and the other room and all those kind of things. Yes, why is the family thinking in that manner? Illiteracy. And why are they not enlightened? Why are they illiterate in that regard? They have a lack of access to accurate gender-based information. Would I even say it's accurate gender-based? It's not a lack of access to, they're not lack of exposure. Yeah, so I agree with you. So guys, we understood. I'm glad that we understood this. So before you go and launch your social impact, so these are questions you have to critically. First of all, you want to identify which social issue you want to solve, okay? And then you begin to ask your why so that you can so that you're not solving, it's just like a wound. You have to treat a wound. Some wounds, you have to open them up and clean them up and like clean it up before you can even think of closing it. You understand? So the way you would treat a deep wound is how you treat a social issue. And that's why we cannot also afford to do temporary fixed projects, hit and runs. We must be thinking sustainability. We must be thinking, about projects that will extend the impact to, would have a ripple effect, impacts that are sustainable, impacts that will outlive us. You must think in that direction. And just to close this out, I conclude by saying social impact leadership isn't about having a vision alone. It's about taking concrete action to drive long-term, take note of the word long-term, sustainable. Oh my God. Gochi, are you guys seeing me?
We can see you.
Okay. Okay, long-term sustainable solutions that extend beyond our immediate communities. Okay, so with these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you, okay, that number one, okay, somebody is still submitting assignment. I love it. Please keep it coming. You can put on the chat box. You can put in the WhatsApp group as well. In fact, I would love us to, so anything you've written here, please help me drop it in the Changemakers WhatsApp group. Let's put them there. Let's put them there because it's a build-up of the actual program launches. So guys, just to conclude, an honorable call, an honorable vision, like I said when I started, if you're indifferent, you cannot make a difference. So the fact that you're on this call today means that you're itching to make a difference. So beyond itching to make a difference, you also need to get the training so that if I tell you my social impact journey, you will laugh, but story for another day. It's a story that those who join the Changemakers program would hear very, very well, because there we're going to be going deep. There is I think it's a 12 weeks program, and you're going to be getting trained and you're going to learn a lot. So please make sure that when the call for application opens up on Monday, please apply for it. And we're not looking for a lot of people. If you know you won't have time to commit to the to the project, it's for 3 months, but of course it's a virtual live class session, or it's a core workshop. I don't know if it's 3 months. I'm not sure. I think it's less, but you're definitely going to need to commit time. And of course, at the end of it, you're also going to be launching your social impact project. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for having me, and thank you for engaging. If you have questions, I think we'll just leave the questions for after the third speaker speaks. We'll take the questions so that we can just get all the questions together. We have our third speaker. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ivory. Guys, please let's put it up for Ivory. A round of applause. Thank you so much. This was really, really, really impactful. Very impactful session. Thank you really, really much. Let's give a round of applause. Let's, hit the chat room. Give a round of applause for Ivory. Amazing, amazing session. Some of the things I picked out, or one of the things that really stood out for me was, the trait of a social impact leader when you talked about it. So there's actually a character or that a social impact leader should have. There's something that, should stand out when someone sees a social leader, someone who is purpose driven, someone who embodies who is empathetic, who's a systems thinker, and someone who's willing to collaborate. Amazing, amazing session. Thank you so much. So if you can put in one word, one thing you picked out from this session, you could just put that in quickly before we introduce the next speaker. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. If you can put in one word, what you picked out, what's that one word that stood out for you from this session we've just concluded? What's that one word that stood out for you? So all of you, really it was really interactive. I love the part where we had the why session, the problem tree session as well was really, really, really amazing for me. If you can just put in one word, what stood out for you this session? Rose Ndukwe, I really loved your breakdown. It was really amazing. Thank you, Gladness. Thank you, Helen. I see you guys. Thank you. Boluwatife, your feedback was really amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Shalom. Thank you guys so, so very much. Rebecca says one thing that stood out for her is to have a social impact that is sustainable. You have to address the root cause, not just the surface problem. Absolutely true. Thank you. That is absolutely correct. So yes, there's something that caused that thing to happen. So just to put it in simple terms, so you have to be able to address that root cause. So the surface problems that spring up are just they're as a result of that root cause. So you have to first of all go to the root to address the roots before you then begin to address the surface. Thank you. Gladness says purpose driven and a problem solver. Thank you so much. Absolutely correct. Without further ado, I'll just bring up our next speaker. Just 1 minute, guys. Right, so we'll just bring up, sorry for that. We'll just bring up our next speaker now, in the person of Timothy Asobili Emmanuel Dare. I hope I pronounced the name properly. Okay, so I'll just read through his profile. Timothy is a humanitarian, mental health advocate, and project manager with over 11 years of experience leading Executives Helping Initiative, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting prison inmates, underserved communities, and individuals battling mental health challenges, cancer, and sickle cell disease. Under his leadership, EHI has impacted thousands of prison inmates by providing food, medication, and rehabilitation programs, including the ongoing project to feed 2,000 inmates at Kirikiri Prison and renovate prison facilities transformed underserved communities by organizing medical outreaches, educational support programs, and food drives that have improved the lives of countless individuals. As a visionary leader and strategist, Timothy has successfully mobilized and managed over 1,000 volunteers, ensuring the seamless execution of impactful projects that create lasting change. Wow. Let's give a round of applause as we welcome Timothy Dari to the session. Thank you, Timothy. Welcome. It's really
All
good to
right.
have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you, so I guess.
Okay. All right. So I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about this session. Um, so yeah, also I just want to say well done to the team. So far I was listening in and it was just giving me throwback as to when I started basically. So I'm also going to be real with everybody in terms of what does it feel like to really start this and yeah, so I'll be talking about building the roadmap. So I will talk about my story. I just want to try and share my screen, if you don't mind. Okay, okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, all right. So just to give you guys a background, right? So I'll really be real. I also wanted to be interactive as well. So I studied law in school, studied from University of Lagos. So I'm a lawyer. Um, From being a lawyer, I started Executives Up in Initiative. I think I was in 200 level or 300 level then. And just curious about wanting to go to an orphanage because I had never been to one. And then in 2013, we will go to an orphanage and we go to three orphanages and I see triplets. And I'm like, I know I can be stubborn, right? But the idea of my mom dumping me in an orphanage was always something that used to blow my mind as to why will a mother drop their kids at an orphanage, right? And I just said a silent prayer to God that God, I hope I get to the capacity where I can do something every day. I still believe I'm still on that journey. And so it was something we used to do once a year, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017 was always once a year. And then I remember February 2018 when God laid in my heart that, oh, every last Sunday we should go to the orphanage. And we started doing that since March 2018. And God has just always been providing, basically. I'm also going to be shaking some tables in terms of, I really hope all of us are with our books and bios so that you don't just hear these things and you're not able to take note. I know you might not be able to capture everything that I'll be talking about. So I would stay on script and still go off script. So one of the things I just want to tell everybody here is do not be discouraged. Do not feel like you are too young to create an impact. Do not feel like you are too young to do anything. I've also been in so many situations in the last 11 years where we had 0 naira, we didn't have anything. All I had was just my gut in terms of, okay, this is something that I really wanted to do, basically, right? So those were some of the things I also be talking about. But one important thing was the vision, right? So right now, I run two non-for-profit. So there's Executives Up in Initiative and Anti-Suicide and Depression Squad. And it's not easy, right? One of the things we'll get to discover right now is managing people can be hard. But once you have the right structure and system, you will see that nothing is truly impossible. Do you get what I'm saying? So you need to ensure you have structures and systems in place, regardless of whatever it is you want to achieve, not just only for your non-for-profit, but for what it is that you want to be able to, do. One video I want us to watch is I want everybody to go on YouTube immediately after this session, right, and look for a video called "Building Your Vision from the Ground." It's like a 1 hour, almost 2 hours video with TD Jakes and Stephen Furtick, right? So it's a video where TD Jakes is talking about his book, SOA, with Stephen Furtick, right? So when you watch that video, even watching the video alone, is something that I always go back to within the last 5 to 6 years. I know I've watched almost 4 or 5 times. You will learn so much. I think when you watch it, to strike a chord in your spirit, in your mind, to just know that anything is possible. So please make sure you watch that video on YouTube. And if you can get the book, get the book. Now, one of the things I want to talk about in the video is when TG Jakes talks about do not compromise on your gifts. Meaning, for example, you already have a gift, always be able to showcase your gift. I can tell you something for a friend. I know Ivory will agree with me, and all of us that are social impact founders, that nobody wants to let go of anyone that is adding value, right? And so there's something he talks about when you know where you are going, you should know what you need and what you don't need. And that's another important thing that many of us will make a mistake in. Do you get what I'm saying? So take, for example, I want to try and look for another page quickly. Let me type baby with cancer quickly, right? Can everyone hear me? I really want it to be interactive. I hope people can speak, or are they allowed to speak? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, so I want to ask a question, right? So, can everyone see my screen still?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, Gochi, you're the only person talking, or other people are not talking. So, guys, here's a baby that has cancer, right? I want to ask a question. How many of us would like to help this baby that has cancer? If you would like to help this baby that has cancer, can you either raise your hand or put a comment in the comment box saying, "Oh, yes, I would like to help this baby that has cancer." Here is a baby that has cancer. How many of us would like to help? I want to know how many of us would like to help. If you would like to help this baby that has cancer, can you please raise your hand, please?
Yeah, we have Boluwatife, her hands are up.
Okay. How many people?
We have from
I was hoping
Gladness.
that everybody's hand would be up.
Gladness has her hands up.
Okay. All right. Now, what if I told us that to help this baby, we needed about $2 million? How
Wow.
many of us have $2 million at the moment to help this baby? Can your hand be up if you have $2 million to help this baby? What I'm teaching you guys is very profound. I know the hands will drop, but what if I told us that there were systems and structures that we can put in place that can allow us raise that $2 million? How many of us know that this is possible? If you think this is
Someone
possible, can
says
you
she
raise
has
your
the
hand?
money by faith.
Oh, she has the money by faith. Okay, nice. Gladness, we need to be friends. Oh. How many of us agree that there are systems and structures we can put in place to raise that money to help this child? Can you raise your hand? All right. Now, you see now that when I first asked the first question, how many of us want to help? Most of our hands were up. And what I want you to learn from that is the truth is that there's a difference between wanting to help and having the capacity to help. Do you get what I'm saying? The capacity came in terms of the money, but then there's also the part where you can now put structures and systems in place. Now, relating it to what we're talking about initially before, which is it is very, very important. Sorry, guys, I'm moving, so I had to find a place. I'm moving houses, so please just bear with me with the noise in the background. And so, what I wanted us to understand is that there's a difference between wanting to help and then having the capacity to be able to help. Do you get what I'm saying? And this is something very, very important. And I'm saying this because when you start your organization, trust me, a lot of people are going to want to volunteer. A lot of people, different kinds of personalities will want to reach out to you. But the question now is this. Yes, they have a good heart in terms of wanting to help. But in terms of what you are building and what you want to do these people have the capacity, right? Do they have the skill set in being able to join your vision? Right? Now, what is a vision? A vision is something that is just really, really powerful. It's like it's a future state, right? It's a long-term impact you aim to achieve. And this should be ambitious and inspirational, right? Painting a clear picture of of the world you want to create. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, the truth is that because you are the founder of the organization, right? Only you at the beginning will have this vision, right? Only you at the beginning will have this vision. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, the question of mission is now like, what are your core purpose, right? And how are you going to work towards your vision? Do you get what I'm saying? So the vision is the future reality of what you want. Why the mission is what are the day-to-day activities? What are the day-to-day systems? What are the day-to-day things that you need to be able to do that can allow you get to your vision? Do you get what I'm saying? Let's say a vision as your house address. Let's imagine all of us were in a physical space, right? And your house address, meaning your house, is your vision. Now, the mission now is for those of us that maybe you want to use Uber, you need to take Uber, you will need to pass different places. There's traffic, you have to wait. What do you do? Where do you go to? Or some people might want to trek. Do you get what I'm saying? Depending on the device you want to use or the systems or structure you want to use, right? I just want to be really practical with you guys, basically in terms of going there. So, talking about my own personal experience, when I started as a student in Unilag, then all of us were students. It was really, really difficult to have a team because people were from different parts of the world. Did they want to help? Yes, everybody wanted to help, but they just did not share in my vision, right? Not everybody shared in the vision, right? Or rather, some people shared in the vision, but they were not willing to apply the mission, right? Or go through the mission. And what am I trying to say? Many of you will discover in your journey, right? Or you can learn now that there are some people that will not necessarily want to be part of the process, right? Which is the back end work, the dirty work, the meetings, the structure, the system, and all of those things. Why there are some people that they only want to show up on the day when the event is booming, where everybody can see everybody shining their teeth. You're seeing the pictures like, oh, this is so impactful, but they are never truly interested in being part of the process. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, for you, you want to be able to identify those that will be in your core team. You need a core team, right? You need a core team. Sorry, I want to try. You need a core team, right? And depending on whatever it is you want to, don't forget, you need to have a vision. That vision is what will pull you every day. That even if you are doing something else, they wake you from your sleep, it just begins to beat in your chest. Like you can't just live without doing this thing, right? Another thing I have to say is for those of us that are in Nigeria, you realize that the Nigerian economy might not necessarily encourage you to do what you do. So don't feel entitled that, oh, because you are the one that has a vision, that Nigeria should start following you, money should start coming to you, people should just automatically answer you and listen to you. Do you get what I'm saying? It will not work. Do you get? People are going to pay attention to you, the kind of person you are, the kind of results that you will come up with. How do you make things work? How do you solve problems? People will test you. There will be people that intentionally want you to fail. There will be people that intentionally want to just sabotage your work. Those are just some of the tests that you're going to go through. There's some people that don't align with you that want to use you for different things. But as you go in that journey, you'll be able to discern. So, for example, now, because of all these experiences, some of these bad experiences that I had, what do I do in my organization? For anyone that wants to join maybe ER or SAT, we have a Google form, right? And I just discovered something. And you would also discover that when you watch that video I told you to, which is if I know where I'm going, why do I want to carry people that have no intention in going where I'm going? Why do I want to frustrate them and also frustrate myself? Because there is no alignment. Why do you want to put people in your ship, in your boat, in your car, that you know that you guys are not aligned in terms of your vision, your mission? You can clearly see it, or they don't have the necessary skill set, or you are not also willing to teach them. Do you get what I'm saying? Or they are not also willing to learn. So it goes vice versa. There are people that want to join you, but maybe they don't have certain skill sets, and then they need to be trained, just like we're having a training now. Do you get what I'm saying? Those people can still align. But when you can see clearly, sometimes you just know that you are intentional. So just imagine, just like being in a relationship. Someone has told you that maybe they don't like cooking, they don't like doing this, they don't like doing certain things. They've told you clearly, and you still carry your bag and you entered it, or maybe you saw a red flag and you saw all of these things, and then you still chose to go and do all of these things. Then you know that you're stressing yourself. Guys, all right, thank you guys. So yes, so you do not want to stress yourself. So what do? We have a structure document in the organization. So one of the things you want to do is you want to ensure that you have a structure in your organization. So we have a structure document in our organization, right? And in the organization, we have what the purpose of the organization is, our values, our core values, our mission statement. You also want to make sure you register with the government, right? Whether you want to register as a consultant trustee or you want to register as what's it called? Or you want to register as what's the other one? Social impact or I can't remember it. Every can you remember? Can you remind me, please? There's the other one that you can get money because as an NGO, you're not supposed to make money. So there's a difference between that. I don't know if I still on the call. So you really want to be careful, ensure that you don't have issues with the federal government, file your annual returns. You need to ensure you have a legal person in your team. You also want to ensure you have an accountant. You audit your account. It's very important that you audit your account. You also have a programs manager. Then you also have a social media team, right, that can ensure that we post on the social media regarding what you're doing, basically. So those are things you want to be able to put in place. So you also want to ensure you have a structured document, right, that clearly tells people what is expected of them. Now, one of the things I've also discovered is that many times we as founders, we make a very grave mistake. What do I mean? So take, for example, in my own organization, right, there are certain departments that require that it's very important that they have certain tools. Now, these tools are like laptops, or they need to have certain skill sets that if they do not have these tools or these skill sets, they will not be able to carry out the work that they need to do. So take, for example, you can't join a secretariat team and not have a laptop. Do you get? Because you need someone to take the minutes of meeting, and it's going to be stressful to do that on your phone. I'm not saying it's not possible to do it with your phone, but I'm saying that it's going to be stressful to carry out that function with your phone, right? So that team is a laptop. Or someone that says they want to join your social media team, but guess what? They do not have a social media page, for example. Do you get what I'm saying? How can someone join your social media team? They don't have a social media page, or they have never managed a social media page before. It would definitely be a struggle, right? Or someone wants to be in the legal department, but the person is a medical doctor. How can a medical doctor join the legal team? Or a lawyer wants, I mean, a lawyer can join the medical team. There's nothing wrong in that. Maybe they can just take blood pressure. There's certain things they can learn, but you get the drift. Do not position people that do not have certain skills in certain departments. Because sometimes we do it intentionally, that someone just tells you that, oh, they want to do this. They give you Perspire to Maguire, and you go and position that person in a department that they do not have the skill set. And then they begin to feel and begin to feel like they are useless. It's not like they're useless. It just makes sense that everyone should join a department that resonates with their career projection, a department that can be able to put them in the limelight based on the skill sets that can allow them to shine. So what am I saying? You are an HR enthusiast. Join the HR department of the organization. Do you get what I'm saying? You're in the welfare team. For example, if you join the welfare team and you're not a caring person, you're not a nice person, you're not a motherly figure, whether a man or a woman, that has the ability to be able to constantly, check up on people or be nice with people, then you will struggle in that department. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's always important that clarity is given. For example, like I said, people will fill a form. That form, it will take you about um, 5, 10 to 15 minutes to fill our form. After you fill our form, it will take you, after you fill the form, we send you a 1 hour recording where I talk to you, right? You have to listen to that 1 hour recording where I talk to you and explain the system and structure of the organization, how we do things, how things go. We give you that explanation, and then we send you our structured document asking you to read it. Do you get what I'm saying? And then after you go through all of those things, don't forget on the Google form, what I didn't tell you is that we ask questions based on the reality of the challenges that we know that volunteers deal with. Now, the truth is this, like I said, Nigeria does not support, volunteering structure if you don't have money, to be honest, but you can still make it work. And what do I mean? How do you expect volunteers to give their all or give their best when you are not paying them? Do you get what I'm saying? And it's something you would always hear. But the truth is this, is that what we are trying to do, whether it's here ourselves or the organizations that are part of, is we know there are people out there that maybe they don't have the strength, because bringing something from your idea stage to life is hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to bring something to life, right? And so there are some people that don't have that strength to bring something to life. And so they would rather just join an existing organization. So those are the kind of volunteers we're looking for, right? But most importantly, there are three things that are really important to me, right? And I would advise you guys to look out for those things, which is it is very important that anybody joining my organization or the organizations that I'm involved in, the non-for-profit, it is very important that everybody believes in what those organizations are doing. It's very important, number one, that everybody believes in it. The second thing is it is very important that everybody coming in has the necessary skills or tools to join a department that will resonate with them, but also helps the organization achieve its purpose. And then lastly, they need to have time. So take, for example, I know a lot of football matches are happening right now, and many of you could be watching football. Many of you could be at an or you'll be doing something else, but you've sacrificed time. Do you get what I'm saying? I want to believe that this session is free, right? I hope it's free, right? And you could have, yes, thank you so much, Bolo, for social enterprise. You could have been doing something else, but you sacrificed the time to show up. Let me give you an example. No matter everything we're going to talk about and you've heard so far, such as needs assessment, looking at getting your beneficiaries and all of those things, it's going to require people to sacrifice their time to do these things. There's something I call the orchestral style of leadership in my own non-for-profit, and I'm sharing this secret with you. And what does that mean? For those of us that have seen an orchestra is where you have so many people playing different instruments, right? At different times. There's one piece of music, someone is playing the trumpet, someone is playing the piano, Someone is playing the pianist. And for those of us that have seen an orchestra, the orchestra, the person playing the piano cannot say, oh, based on my feelings and emotion, I want to play do now, or I want to play re now, right? Or the person playing the trumpet cannot say, oh, based on my feelings and emotion, this is when I want to play the instrument, right? What I try to teach in the orchestral style of leadership is that there are certain times and certain things that need to be done at the organization's time, not based on your feelings and emotion. So one of the things I try to do, and I will encourage us to do, is I have a calendar for the year. For example, if any of you check Assad's social media page or Executives Open Initiative social media page, you will see that we already have a calendar for the year. I have sat down, I always like to take a break, spiritual break, right before the new year, and plan the whole year down to the list of activities, events, meetings, the timeline for the meetings. And we post it on our social media page and share to our volunteers so everybody knows what exactly it is that they're supposed to do when they are coming into the organization. Do you get what I'm saying? Everybody needs to know what exactly it is they're supposed to do and what we are going to do. Do you get? And the reason is so that when people are coming in, they already know when we will have meeting. For example, I'll tell you guys for free. There is no such thing as the perfect time. Do you get? For example, if I ask many of us, how many of us is this time convenient to you? Many of you will say, oh, it's not convenient. If I were to ask you guys, okay, guys, I want to have a private meeting with you guys tomorrow. What time is convenient? I promise you that everybody will come up with different times. Do you get? So as an organization, sometimes you have to enforce certain things that will work for your organization, but also let people know what they are getting themselves into so that it does not affect, what's it called, your organizational structure. Do you get? It doesn't mean you're a wicked person, but if you don't enforce it, people will abuse the system and people will take advantage of what you are doing. Do you get? So, for example, now I'm just using my own example, my organization as a model for you guys. So tempted. You know what? Let me share let me share my screen. I want to try and see if I can just show you guys what I'm saying. So there's just it does I want it to really be practical so that when you guys leave this session, I hope it's being recorded so you guys can play. So can you guys still see my screen? I know like I have a limited time. Can you guys still see my screen? Can you guys still see my screen? Can you guys see my screen? Yep. Can you see my screen? Yeah. Can you see my screen? Okay, so this is the calendar for the year now, guys, for example. So this is the calendar for EHI. So can you see the date? We posted it on the 18th of December. So if you look at it here, we already kept a structure that, oh, every last Sunday of the month by 1 o'clock, we'll go to an orphanage visitation. We've done January 26th. Now we're going to do February 23rd. See, we have a general meeting every first Sunday of the month by 12. Do you get? Today is first. 12 o'clock, there was a general meeting that was held today. Then we recruit quarterly. That is also going to happen, right? This is recruitment. Our end of the month celebration meeting happens 10 a.m. We have an August self-development time where we do self-development on our volunteers, down to our hangouts, and then the charity 2025, which will happen November 1st, November 8th, and December 20th, which is 3 major events. And then we have the leaders meeting that will happen every Sunday, right? 6 to 8 p.m. Sorry, not every Sunday. The second week and third week of the month, what's it called? Sunday, 6 to 8 p.m., right? And then we have our departmental meetings. Now, departmental meeting happens the first week and third week of the month. And these are the various departments. We have 13 departments in EHI. So HR will have their meeting, obviously, on Monday, right? This coming Monday. The IT department will have their meeting, and they meet twice in a month. We know that people are busy. We can't have a meeting from 8 a.m. to 5 because people are busy. So we have our meetings in the evening, right? 8 to 9, 9 to 10. We have to meet. If not, we'll not be able to carry out the functions of everything that we want to do. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So you have to have a structure. If you don't have a structure, people will take you anyhow. People would, just do you anyhow. These people are not structured. No, there are 5 qualities that I pride myself in that every volunteer that comes out from my organization will have, whether they like it or not. And what are those 5 qualities? That every volunteer would be passionate about whatever it is they want to do in life. The second quality is that they would always be people that take calculated risk, right? You cannot come in an organization and you don't take calculated risk, whether you like it or not. The third quality is that they are self-starter. Now, in this day and age, I fear Gen Z, right? I fear Gen Zs. The Gen Zs I've experienced in the last 2 years it's been crazy. One of the issues I have with Gen Zs is that Gen Zs have experience. I'm sure those of us that are Gen Zs, maybe you're not like that, is they are not humble enough to learn. Do you get what I'm saying? They feel like they know it all. You can't teach them, you can't talk to them, and all of those things. No, and that's not the case. You have to be able to humble yourself to be able to learn. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're not, for example, I hope those of you that are listening are taking notes. Because each problem, there are different kinds of problems that will happen. Do you get right? And one of the reasons why we plan ahead is that we know you will not be 100% every day, but plan ahead. That's the whole idea. We know that you have a life. Our volunteers are meant to just give us 2 hours of their time every day, and that's 10 hours a week, 40 hours in a month, right? And most of our activities will revolve around creating Google form, calling someone, doing research, following up with this, following up with that. It will not pass around those tasks. Do you get what I'm saying? And we give recommendations to people that go to like Harvard, Oxford, all of these amazing universities that some of our volunteers go to. And we can easily beat our chest that, oh, the kind of volunteers we push in the system are really top quality, right? So like I said, so the third quality is that you're a self-starter. A lot of times people wait to be told what to do. I can't stand it personally, right? We've already given you the structured document. We've had meetings. We asked you, do you understand? You say yes. We've told you, giving you your tax. I have time, go and execute. But if you don't call someone, if I don't say, hey, Gladness, jump up, Gladness will not jump up. If I don't tell Rose, bend down, Rose will not bend down. Rose wants me to come and tell her what to do. Meanwhile, the mission and structure is already there. And everything you need to do, all you need to do is take initiative and then do that. So you become a self-starter, meaning that you're not going to be someone that even in your office, there are problems. Fire is burning. You're still going to wait for them to tell you, yeah, take water, pour it on the fire. No, you should not be that kind of person as a volunteer. You have to be proactive, right? And then the fourth quality is teamwork, team player. You must understand and appreciate the power of working with like-minded people. Do you get what I'm saying? You must understand and appreciate the power of working with like-minded people. Do you get what I'm saying? They might not necessarily have your same religious belief, your same understanding, but you guys are coming together. You guys have one particular vision in that organization that you're in to be able to achieve things. So you must learn to be able to appreciate that. Someone might not, for example, as I'm talking, some people might not understand what I'm saying. Some people might not appreciate maybe what are some of the things that I'm saying, but some of you might be able to grab what I'm saying. So there's unity in diversity. Do you get what I'm saying? There's unity in diversity at times. And then lastly, you must consistently exhibit all of these traits. So those are the 5 qualities: passion, taking calculated risk, self-starter, team player, and consistency in terms of what you are doing. And then another thing I will talk about for those of us that are planning to be founders is you must lead by example. Do you get what I'm saying? You must lead by example, right? So I'm a leader that I will never ask my volunteers to do something that even me myself, I'm also not willing to do, right? So let's just go into identifying your targets, your target beneficiary. So just like was said by Ivory, you want to be able to figure out whatever it is you want to do in life. Guys, I told my volunteers this, that 100 years before me and them came into this world, there were always problems and issues. And after we leave, there'll still be problems and issues. You can't solve all the problems in the world, right? As they say. However, you can focus your energy on certain aspects. It depends on you. What are some of the things that matter to you? Identify your beneficiaries, right? Clearly define who you aim to help. This could be a specific community, demographic group that are facing a particular challenge. For example, for me, I focus more on people that are struggling with their mental health in ASADS and then EHR. We focus more on those that are orphans and are in the orphanage, people that are in the prison, people that are in undeserved communities, and people that have cancer, sickle cell, and mental health. Then you need to come up with a needs assessment. A lot of times, we as founders, we come up with solutions based on what we think people need. But the essence of needs assessment for you to understand through thorough research, understand the specific needs and challenges that are being faced by your target beneficiaries, not based on what you want to do. I hope you get what I'm saying. Most times you have an idea of what you think you want to do for people, but you've not even bothered to ask them, what do they want? What do they need? So, and that's the essence of a needs assessment, right? What does that community need? What are they saying? You can do Google form, you can do actual research, you can interview a couple of people to understand what exactly it is that they need. Do you get what I'm saying? So you want to be able to identify beneficiaries, right? And then set measurable goals and objectives. What are your goals? This will allow you to track progress. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? And then break down your goals into smaller bits. Do you know what I'm saying? What are series of activities, sensitization that you want to give to people before you move, right? Now, once you've done that, the next thing you want to do is to secure resources and build relationships, right? The truth is this, that there's no idea you want to think of that God has not placed in the mind of other people or someone. Do you get what I'm saying? And there is no competition in making the world a better place, right? So resource mobilization. So you need to be able to identify and secure necessary resources to implement your plans, including funding, personnel, and materials. How do you get the money for the project? Like I said, there are people out there that see they don't have the strength to go on the field to execute your project. You know, they are big people, they are working, they are busy, but these projects mean a lot to them. So some people would rather just give you money, right? There are people out there that they don't have the time. They're just looking for credible organizations that have integrity, that they can give a certain amount of money either every week, every day, every month, and then those people will go and execute, right? You also have those that they don't mind, they might not have money, but they're just willing to show up and give you their skill set, they're willing to give you their time, right? And then you have organizations that they are really big, established organizations that, you know, this is their focus in terms of it. So you need to be able to come up with proposals here, send the proposals out to these organizations, see how you can secure partnerships, who are those in your team that are very good in, because see, most times for you to get partnership, you need to know how to rapport with people. Relationships are like your greatest asset. Do you get what I'm saying? Like relationships are your greatest asset, right? And don't look down on anyone now. You know, when we started like, you know, 10, 11 years ago, we're still young. And most everyone now has gone into a particular life that right now we have people that every month they send a specific amount to the organization. They are now comfortable, they are earning well now, right? When we first started, it was difficult for them to send, you know, some of their kind of amounts that they are sending now. But because they grew with us, they started with us from the bottom, right? So you need to be able to appreciate your community now, grow with them, and see how you can solve their problems. For example, one of the things I didn't tell you is that aside from us volunteering, I have another group where I post job opportunities every day, right? And that group has over 1,000 people there that are not necessarily volunteers. Do you get what I'm saying? And I personally give jobs to people based on skill sets that I've seen. I don't recommend rubbish. Do you know what I'm saying? I have to recommend someone that has value, right? So you need to add value to the lives of all of your volunteers, right? Then you also want to see how you can develop strategies and action plans. So what you need to do now is when you've discovered your problem, the problem you want to solve, identify the kind of resources that you need, the kind of partnerships that you need. Don't forget now, you can be in a good state where, for example, now let's imagine you need money. You've got some money. Someone has given, let's imagine you need $1 million. Okay, they've given you the $1 million. They're giving you the money that you need. But the question now is now, how do you develop the strategy and the action plan to execute the project? Because a lot of times people feel like sourcing money is difficult. Don't get me wrong, yes, sourcing money can be difficult, but also executing can also be hard. Do you get? So you there are two types of problem most times that not-for-profits have in Nigeria: getting money and then getting an executing team. So, but right now, let's imagine this now. Money is not a problem for your organization. You guys have money, you have unlimited resources, but you now need to execute, right? So you need to now develop strategies, right? Outline broad approaches that you take in achieving your goals, right? And this could be through advocacy. Maybe you want to make videos, online videos, or go out on the street, educate people, give direct services or community development, whatever it is you want to do, right? You need to come up with a style, with an approach, with a methodology. And then the next thing you want to do is come up with an action plan. So you need to develop a detailed plan. Okay, we'll go to this community on this day. We do the needs assessment. Once we get it, you need to go and source. You need to create a budget of how much certain things will cost. You go to the community, you go to the markets, you buy all of those things. And then you need to now see how you can now get volunteers. You need to recruit, right? What are the activities? What are the timeline? What's going to be the program of the day? So those are things that you need to come up with for every single thing there, right? And then you now need to ensure that you get the necessary resources that were required. You need to go to the market, right? You need to ensure you have your program manager. You also need to do your M&E. You need to be able to measure the impact, right? How is it going? How is it gone? What are the necessary things that are supposed to be done depending on the particular project, and ensure that you have capable hands. Do you get what I'm saying? So you need to ensure that depending on the kind of organization you aim to get, there's what you call monitoring and evaluation, right? For those of you that have applied for grants, when you get grants, there are certain organizations that will give you grants and they will tell you all the specific things that you need to ensure that you do. Your monitoring and evaluation, your needs assessment, all these documentations, your proposal, pictures, all of those things, and they will tell you, right? Are you paying salary? You're not paying salary. There are some grants that are very specific in terms of all of the things that you need to do, and you need to ensure that you carry it out. So the next thing you want to do is implementing. Like I said, we just spoke about monitoring and evaluation. So you implement, you put your action to plans in motion, ensure effective execution, and coordinate activities. One of the things I've not spoken about is communication. You see, now as I'm talking to you guys, just imagine I was speaking French or I was speaking Russian, right? But if you don't understand what I'm saying, you cannot move, right? How many of us remember the story of the Tower of Babel? And it's one of the stories I always talk to use to my volunteers that see. For those of us that have been, take your time to go and read it again. Because of time, I want you to go and read the Tower of Babel. You will see that at the beginning of that story is the first time we see God sort of scared of man in a way, right? Allow me to use that word. A group of people came together, they were going to work on a project. In fact, let's even say that was the first NGO project for a building project. All of them were united, they were working, and God did not like that project. God could have snapped his finger like Thanos, sure, but he didn't do that. What did he do? He changed their language. And all of a sudden, people no longer understood each other. And what does that tell you? That the moment people no longer understand each other, it will be difficult for them to be able to achieve whatever it is they want to achieve. And why am I saying this? It is your responsibility as the founder of the organization to ensure you always eliminate confusion. Always over explain. You must be the chief meaning officer. Never allow any kind of confusion in your organization. Things must be clearly spelled out that even when you remove people or you do someone, everyone will say, you're not communicating. There should be evidence that people need to be able to say, no, 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 no. Madam Ivory has communicated, they paste it every day for 2 months, for 3 months. They've been communicating that this is how you need to do things. You have to be the chief meaning officer. It is your responsibility to ensure that you always give light, you give clarity, you give wisdom, so that everybody knows what they are supposed to do and how they are supposed to go about it. So you must communicate. Do you get what I'm saying? You also have to know how to manage people, right? And then implementing comes with a lot of things on its own. You want to have your project management skills, your project manager, your reporting, your minutes of meeting, your funding, who's going to the market, when are you going to the market, and then coordinate your activities, right? And then monitoring, you want to track the progress, right, of your goals and your objectives. You want to collect data, get feedback to assess the effectiveness of the solution that you are giving based on your needs assessment, right? And then you evaluate, right? For example, let's imagine you're coming up with a program, you want to remove someone from the slum, right? I've been in a situation where I wanted to remove someone from the slum and he said, no, he doesn't want to leave because for him, he has been used to that life in the slum. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the kind of life that he grew up with. That was all he knew. And so he was comfortable in that place. I know it will seem funny to many of you. The reason why it's funny to you is that many of you did not live that experience. So don't judge, right? What happens is that when someone has been exposed to a particular kind of life, that is all they are used to. Do you get what I'm saying? So you need to ensure you evaluate. Are you truly making impact? What's the impact? Is this person still the same way after 1 month, after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? You need to be able to check all of those things. You get what I'm saying? And then once you are done with the project, communicate and share your impact. Be transparent. God forbid they'll be accusing you of, oh, you're collecting, foreign money, and then you are using the money for your personal goal and all of those things, or personal endeavors. Do not be that kind of person. Do you get? So you need to start putting transparency systems. For example, in my not-for-profit, I cannot withdraw any money, even if I wanted to. The keys to withdraw is in the hands of the financial secretary. I only approve, meaning that I can only approve what initiated. Do you get what I'm saying? And the person has their code for the bank. Those are some of the systems that kept in place, right? So you need to ensure transparency. Everybody can clearly see what is going on in the organization so that nobody will spread any kind of rubbish rumor about you that, this person is stealing money, this person is doing this person is doing that. No, you want to be transparent that even if someone does not like you, they cannot deny the fact that you have integrity. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm telling you now. You also want to keep records so that the day maybe EFCC will come and say they want to see your books, they are able to see your books so that these are people spend money. That's why you have to ensure you always file your annual returns. Do you get what I'm saying? You have to file your annual returns with the federal government or the country that you are in. For those of you that plan to run your not-for-profits in other countries, the storytelling. The truth is this: is you have to master the art of storytelling. For example, we recruit volunteers every month in EHI, and we always have to share an image and then put a kind of story in the content so that it can move the hearts of people to sign up to be part of us. Without that storytelling, people cannot join us. Do you get what I'm saying? We also make visuals, videos, and all of those things. And so you have to have compelling stories. You have to have testimonials to showcase the impact of your work so that it can inspire others to get involved. The more you do all of these activities, the more people will be interested, moving forward in terms of all of these things. Do you get what I'm saying? So the more your storytelling is good, the more your storytelling is impactful, right? The more people will say, oh, wow, this is so, I mean, when they read my bio, you guys were like, oh, wow, this is impressive. And maybe some of you have never even heard of me before. This is the first time you're seeing me, right? I know maybe some of you will go and Google to know more about what it is that this person does and the track record, right? And then you see that there's a track record that shows that in the last 11 years, this is what we've been doing, right? So that's also the power of storytelling. Do you get what I'm saying? So don't forget that, basically. I think, yes, so that's all. Basically, I just wanted to really be real as possible. So yeah, if you enjoyed the session, can you just raise your hand or put it in the chat box? And now I would like to take questions, please. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Please, please, please. I like to see. Amazing. Thank you so much, Dare. Thank you. Guys, please let's appreciate
Thank
Dare
you.
for
Yes.
such an impactful. I mean, I didn't expect anything less. So let's just appreciate. Thank you so
I'm
much.
still
Gladness.
here.
Okay, yeah, I know. Gladness says very impactful. So it's time for questions. We have to push questions to the back, but please let's bring our appreciations coming. Very impactful. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Gary. Are we here? Are we grateful? Did we get value? So as you're doing that, let's also know what stood out for you from his session, maybe a punchline or what you took out from his session. So guys, let's get to it. And we're wrapping this up. I like that we're sticking so much to time. I'm so happy. And this is the thing with social impact leaders. We're so disciplined there, God. And as because some
Yes,
other sector, you'll be ringing bell. By now, you'd have carried the bell that they put on Eiffel Tower to ring. And I like that. Thank you so much, sir. So yes, thank you. All right, guys. So I'll just call for questions. So if you have any questions, now is the time. I think we have about 10 minutes for questions. Questions that you have about whether it's from this session or, so a question that has been lingering in your heart, concerning the social sector space, or maybe you're even somebody that's already practicing in the space and has like some roadblock. Now is the time to bring it forward. Dare is still here, or you have a question from his session. Please put your question. Okay, I'll allow us to unmute because I want it to be very interactive this time around. So if you have a question, you just raise your hand and I will unmute you. So if you have a question, you can raise your digital hand and I will unmute you. But let's try and make that as quickly as possible so we can get to the last leg of today's session, which is our induction. No questions. Am I in the wrong circle? Does anybody have any questions?
Please ask a question, and also just to be able to assist Ivory. So I'm willing to give one person like a 1 month one-on-one session, any one of your choice,
Wow.
right? So I'll just schedule, yeah, just like groom the person, show the person some ropes, any one of your choice that you feel is worth it. So just have like a session for 1 month and just help the person with project management, share templates, help the person to scale their organization, basically. And I really want to encourage them. I'm trying to see if I can get the link that I was talking about, right? So that everyone should watch that video. You cannot watch that video and remain the same. The YouTube video I mentioned, which is building your vision from the ground, by TD Jakes and Stephen Fortick, right? Once you watch it, right, don't look down on yourself, right? You might not have the millions now, you might not have that money, and I know it's so easy to just say, the other organizations are already doing this, so I'm just starting. No, right? There's something powerful about starting. Do you get what I'm saying? The truth is, I wanted to join an organization some years ago, but I just felt like, I felt like I had a better idea in terms of how to go about it. Basically, even though that I'm just joining them, right? Didn't know anything about leadership. I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes to leadership. I'm not perfect. Do you get what I'm saying? You will make mistakes, but it's also about just being honest about it and willing to apply yourself. So let me try and drop the link. I dropped it in the chat box. right? So
Awesome.
that's the video. You can watch it from time to time, download it if you can. Do not look down on yourself. Don't say I'm too strong, I'm too small. How old was I like 11 years ago, right? So don't look down on yourself, right? You can do anything. So yes, so I also even want to drop my email so that people can send me an email because I work via email. If I drop my number, my WhatsApp messages, it's very difficult to even catch up. So that's my email. People can send me emails. And please, you can select someone, one person. And for 1 month, for the whole of February, we have like 4 sessions and then more like a mentoring session, show you the ropes and connect you to like a few people, a few communities that can also be able to help as well, basically. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Awesome, guys. Anyways, there definitely has to be someone that stays to the end of this call. So, if you're
Yes, now.
interested, if you're interested in this session, of course, we'll have our criteria for selection because we don't want anybody that waste your time, and we want somebody that know that will value those sessions. So, thank you for that offer. If you understand the implication of that offer, because I know how busy I am, and I know how busy I can imagine how busy you are. So offering to, but again, it's that heart of a social impact leader, that heart that we have, that heart. So guys, so that this is a free gift. If you're interested in that session, please reach out to us. You can reach out to any of the admins on the WhatsApp group and just indicate your interest. And then we will definitely have a chat with you to determine who qualifies to have that session with him. But thank you so much, Dari. Awesome. Thank you. We're very grateful. And I mean, we're launching the Changemakers program, which is, I've mentioned it, is a proper, so this is like a tip of the iceberg. We've also seen a need to train. There are a lot of people that are passionate about, getting into the social sector space, but don't know the first and last and cannot afford a course at LBS. Some of us had to pay. I was punching my calculator this year and I've seen that I need about 1 point something for my professional development goals this year in terms of the courses that I want to take. So guys, that's another thing. You have to just keep learning and learning and learning and getting better at what we do. So the competition is high. When you eventually get into the sector, you understand what I mean. So you have to be able to represent your numbers. You have to be able to tell your story. You have to show that you know what you're doing. You're not just another person that woke up and just wants to feed beggars on the street or something. No, there's a purpose, there is a strategy, there is a vision, and all of those things. So thank you. All this plenty talk is because I'm not seeing any questions. So if there are no questions, which is not back, I guess we'll just say thank you. So there, I'll circle back to you with our selection, the person, and then we can just talk about how, in terms of engagement and stuff. But thank you so much. It was a mind-blowing session. Thank you. And thank you for
Thank
always,
you. Thank you.
anytime I call, you
Yeah.
answer. Like anytime
Yes,
it's
now I
time,
have to.
anytime. I'm so grateful. Thank you. I appreciate. And
Yeah.
of course, I'm very happy to reciprocate the favor whenever.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
so much for having me now. So I'm going to go now and bye, everyone. I wish you guys all the best. All
Thank
right. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
All right. You too. Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. That was Mr. Dare. He's the founder of Executives Helping Initiatives and also Assad's mental health. So if you're passionate about mental health, you want to also connect to him because he's a big advocate for mental health issues, and he's also a humanitarian and the social sector that brought us together, and we've been, connected for years. All right, so very quickly, we'll move to what we have. The next thing that we have. Unfortunately, I don't see Ugochi. She took a jump out of the call to quickly attend to work matters, but I'm going to just go straight to the induction process. So today is also our induction process. Dare talked about volunteering. In fact, we do, induction like every half year. And even though we're trying to see we can do quarterly because our own recruitment process is very rigorous. Like if you're joining our team, it's almost like you're going to get a job at Shell. That's how serious it is. Why? And why are we that serious with it? Because number one, the work that we do here is very serious work. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to talk about YC. For those of you that are wondering who we are and what we do. So we are a youth-focused organization. I've talked about that, and we're focused on youth empowerment, youth development, and our vision is to raise highly productive young African leaders for global impact. So from Africa to the world. And we have interventions across education, entrepreneurship, mentoring, and leadership. And we're founded on 1st of September 2020, but we started operations officially in 2021. So we're still very young in the game, but God has helped us, and we've also made tremendous impact in our 4 years, reaching to over 5,000 youths in Nigeria, and we're continuing to do that. So we're providing scholarships under our education program. We are, doing back to school projects, empowering, underprivileged and marginalized kids living in marginalized areas with essential academic tools. And this year, one of the things we're also looking to do is to train at least 100 young people with digital skills. So we're trying to sign a partnership, one of the digital skills training organizations. So look out for that. There's a lot we're offering young people this year, and there's something for everybody. And if you know people that can benefit from our programs, of course, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, YSIPS Foundation, LinkedIn, YSIPS. We're trying to push our LinkedIn and our social medias. Please help us, connect with us, engage with our posts. We're also on Facebook as YSIPS Foundation. So we are YSIPS everywhere. We are YSIPS everywhere. Okay, and then on our entrepreneurship program, we have U40 Biz Gist, which is the under 40 business gist. The business gist with under 40 founders and CEO. We had our maiden edition in May last year, and we featured President Gabriel, and we also empowered some upcoming female fashion entrepreneurs with, business equipment and of course scholarship as well. And we also run a structured mentoring program, the YSIPS mentoring program for secondary schools, where we partner with schools to train their students on personal and leadership development. So we have a full 1-year package for the school. And this year, we have designed the mentoring program to run a full year calendar. So inside the mentoring program, we have our mentoring academy, which is the in-class session with the students every bi-weekly, twice a week in the partner schools. And we also have the boys conference that comes up in May to commemorate the International Day of the Boy Child. We also have the girls conference that comes up in October to commemorate the International Day of the Girl Child. And we have other programs. And this, our Changemakers workshop, is actually our newest baby. And it's an empowerment program to really just train young people. Actually, it came off as a means to train our own volunteers, okay, to help our volunteers get the right training, the right skills, become more professional, delivering on their assignment. But we decided to just throw it open. Again, because on a personal note, I've had several people reach out to me on LinkedIn asking how they can start their own journey as social impact leaders. And I'm like, okay, why not? If not, I'm a nonprofit consultant on the side. I do that. And so I have a lot of other services I offer professional level. But for us at YSIPS, we're very big on youth empowerment. And our goal this year is to reach out to 10,000 people. We're reaching out to 10,000 young people. And that's why we're going to be very busy. Yeah, so this is also my welcome speech. I've already had orientation with volunteers coming in, but I'm also sharing because for the purpose of this meeting, if you're looking to join our team, because as you heard Fabia, volunteering is very critical. I started my journey as a volunteer. I was going to share my story. So this is Ugochi's session and she's not here, so I'll take the liberty today. I used to work in oil and gas. So I started doing social impact work as a teenager. I held my first conference for teenagers as a teenager. Or let me say as maybe I was 20. At the time, I held like a state conference in Owerri then, like a conference for teenagers, teens with a difference. And we had I held 2 conferences. The second one was now like with a talent show, quiz competition, and then we had the conference proper. So I started on this part very, very early, very, very early. Yeah, but then I graduated from school, came to Lagos for NYSC. I was, God being kind and faithful, I didn't look for a job. Later, after I finished NYSC, I already got a job with a consulting firm, and I just continued on that part as a learning and development specialist. So learning, training, and all that. Then I got a job in an oil and gas servicing company, and I had to take it. But it was in that oil and gas company that every day I would come to work. I was really living comfortably, living in a very highbrow estate here in Lagos on the island, room and parlor. So it gives you an idea of how well I was living as a young single girl. And my job was comfortable, right? I mean, it was very comfortable. But every day I would get up, go to work. I was in procurement. I was promoted to chief procurement officer. But every time I sat on my desk, there was this sense of dissatisfaction. I would always have pictures of going to secondary schools, really just talking to them. I'm sure a lot of people have those. I'll just have different kinds of pictures of me just speaking to young people, providing. So for me, the real challenge was that while I was, having to go to work every day, Monday to Friday, it pained me because I never got the chance. If I'm coming to work every day, Monday, which time do I have to? And my work is not the type that you can say you will run off and come back. I even thought about it. Okay, how can I do this? That sense of dissatisfaction. And then a lot of things that happened. I say, what? I quit. So I quit my job. It wasn't a good, it wasn't the best decision. And that's also why we're training you guys now. It wasn't the best decision because I quit and I ran off with passion. The money I was able to save and the little, it was all my money. I organized my first back to school project. And after doing that, it was in Barra Community Secondary School in Lagos. Did 1 week of training, gave them free math sets, free exercise books. And by the time that project was done, I was very fulfilled. I was happy. And it fell into my birthday. So it was like a good birthday gift to me. But after that project, reality setting, when I went back home, I looked at my bank account. I didn't even have a plan for even this organization that I had run off to start doing projects. I didn't know Jack. So it was when it dawned on me that I had made a mistake. So I didn't plan. I didn't plan well. Well, I didn't want to go back to 9 to 5. So I started, exploring entrepreneurship, went back to, trying to sell, I do hair extensions, sell hairs. And I just did business generally, sure. And I managed. I'm a very hardworking person. So I would always work hard. But then again, while I was there, purpose would always call out to you. I just knew that I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should be doing it. But then I eventually was going to get married a couple of years later while still running business, doing network marketing, different things. And it was in that moment of trying to get married. Okay, now if I get married, I want to be able to work. All this money that business is bringing once, I don't like it. I want stable income. So my husband, my fiance, then we discussed. I said, okay, it's fine. I want to go back to Nigeria. Yeah. So I went to interview at an organization, African Capital Alliance. They were trying to recruit for a front desk at the time. I didn't mind it, a very big company. We know Capital Alliance, a very big company. So be getting into that company, whether you're a gate man, So I went to apply. And yeah, I didn't get the job, even though I got to there was two of us remaining. We met the chairman. It was the last interview with the chairman, and the feedback they gave me was that the other girl was more chatty, more friendly, more, and is a front desk, while me, I was more formal. Yes, I can be very formal and I can be very playful, but I think I was even nervous. So the chairman, so they said they chose her because of her personality. So it was a personality thing. And because it's supposed to be a front desk role, they need somebody very like that. Was okay, made a lot of sense. And before then, the HR that interviewed us actually also gave me that feedback. She said, you're very smart, but this is a front desk role, so you have to try to loosen up. When they gave me that feedback as well, I wasn't surprised. I was sad, but while I was leaving, the HR calls me and says, there's another opening somewhere. The lady that one of the senior board members that interviewed me, and she actually wanted me to get the role. So now said that she was part of another organization, that they were looking for an executive assistant. And that's how, they sent me. And if I'm open to it, I should say, why not, if not? And that's how I joined Whisker. So I went to, Whisker is Women in Successful Careers. If you know WIMBAs, Whisker is a lot like them. And that's also where I met Fabia. Okay, we worked together for a few months. So my journey into, and for me, it was like an answered prayer, because Whisker is a social enterprise, right? It's an end. The difference that is a social enterprise. They can charge money, they can do all of that, but every functionality that they had, like a typical NGO. So it was there I got my full long training, stakeholder engagement, stakeholder management, fundraising, organizational management, because I was the executive assistant. The owner of the organization was still working with MTN. So it was me and another lady running the organization. Anyways, but I got all my training then before Fabia came in as a more senior executive. And after a while, I had to leave Whisker. But at Whisker, I got all the training. So for me, I even say that even though I eventually did a course on nonprofit leadership and management from Lagos LBS, and I'm going back this year to do the executive course. I also say that it's my experience at Whisker that really helped me. Everything I'm running Y6 with now is more of the learnings and the experience I took out from Whisker. And here I am. And then, of course, when I transited from Whisker, I did a course at LBS just to seal it, get the professional certificate. And that's it. So volunteering, for me, it wasn't a volunteer role, but I just happened to get myself a job in the social sector space. So that's the thing. So you may not be able, or you're probably already working in a field. I'm also working, I also do 9 to 5, work with the business analysis with an ed tech company, and it's intentional for me. My journey is very intentional. I'm trying to pick up a lot of skills, to also just upskill myself as a professional and also get to expand my network, social network. When you're in the social sector space, you learn to value relationships because a lot of doors that will open up to you from a place of competence. Other ones, it will be from a place of relationship. And that's really just a law. Like, which I see your back. So I'm now taking the time to share my own journey. But I'll pass the mic back to Gochi. Welcome back. If you're ready, let me know so that we can move to what we have and wrap it up. If we can even finish before 4, it would be nice. I see a lot of people are logging off. I guess battery, data, different issues. So Gochi, are you ready to take back the mic?
Hi, Ivory. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm ready to take back the mic. I'm freezing cold because I'm just like, I said this one is part of the volunteering, that we're talking about today.
Sorry. Ele mama. Okay, I think a lot of people are logging off. I'm not sure why. Even the volunteers that were inducting, a lot of them are not here.
Oh, yeah,
But
we
I
just have it.
understand, we've been on the course since 12, so let's just get it over and done with. Ele?
Yeah, so I'll just be as quick as possible. I don't know, I can't start my video for some reasons. Oh, goodness.
Check
So
if
I
you can
just
turn it on now, because I've given you co-host.
I don't know if you can see me. I've turned it on, but I can't see myself, so I don't know what's
Yes, we can
happening.
see you.
Oh, okay. It's weird that people can see me, I can't see myself, so it feels very weird.
But you're far, your view is far though.
Is it? I'm just sat somewhere like in the open space, so it's not so.
Oh, okay. All right.
Uh, yeah. Okay, so there's been a lot of engaging conversation today, a lot of insights from the speakers, a lot of enlightening it's just been an enlightening session overall. So I don't want to bore us with any further story or any just a repetition of what has been said. A lot of things has been said today, and I'm sure we're all taking out one or two things or even a notepad full of things, right, about how important volunteerism can get, how volunteerism, how important it is, and then also traits, as a volunteer, what you need to, or certain attitudes and skill set that you need to have, in this volunteering journey. I'll just speak on my own very quickly. For me, um uh I've been a volunteer for as long as I can remember. I think that personally, from a personal perspective, for me, I got to a place where I felt that where I define volunteering as a lifestyle, really, because I see volunteering as a service. So volunteering definitely is service to other people, is service to your community, just creating an impact, creating value. Um, and then, first of all, I would say that volunteering, first of all, is first of all a value to yourself before it even becomes a value to the next person or to your community. Why I say that is once you when you because for me, I just had this deep sense of this deep hunger to do something. I had that desire to just make a difference, to just make an impact. Because it started way when I was way younger. Yes, I was in the Girls Guild, and at that point, I didn't understand what it meant, to serve or to create an impact. I just was doing what I could at that point in time. But as I grew up, I began to understand that, service was an important, aspect of my life that I couldn't neglect. And it was just something that was in there that kept hitting on for me. And then, what, one day I decided, what, I'm just going to really look into this area of my life, because there was just something within me that was not settling. Something in me was not settling. And I felt, I needed to explore this area of my life. I needed to do more. I needed to, be a blessing to the next person around me. It just started as simple as that. And then I started looking for ways, to project that thing that was on my inside. And so before I joined or came on board Wise Tips, I had volunteered with some other organization. I'd volunteered with TPN, I'd volunteered with Lagos Food Bank, I'd volunteered with some other organization I can't even remember at this point in time. Right. And so joining Wise Tips just kind of gave me that structure that I needed. And so that's one thing about volunteering. I know that Fabia had spoken earlier about passion and vision alignment. For me, before I came into YCIPS as a volunteer, um, I think I had a conversation with Ivory, where she, just kind of sketchily told me about the vision, for YCIPS. At the time, I had just, expressed some interest, and she had told me, the vision she had for the organization, where she was looking to go as an organization with YCIPS, the impact that she was looking to make and the difference that she was willing to, she was looking to make in her community. And I think that to me, that resonated so much with me. And I felt, oh, okay, you know what, if this lady has this vision, which is very similar to what I have in mind. By the way, I was actually already thinking about, oh, how to, set up my own organization, which I still have that dream to do that, right? But when I heard Ivory speak, I was like, oh, why not? Why, come on board, volunteer, learn my own part of my skills, and what I can give as well as a person to this cause that you're really pushing forward. And so that's how I came on board YSIPS. So it's been an amazing time with YSIPS. It's been really rewarding, honestly, if I must say. It's been really rewarding. To be honest, it's been rewarding. There's also been some moments that's been backbreaking. Obviously, as a volunteer, you don't get paid, but is that passion in you, that thing, that tick in you that keeps you going as a person? Is that thing that you want to see happen, that change you want to make, that just keeps you going. Like, even when the going gets tough, you're still moving on. You're still, striving and pushing, to make that difference. So that's why, you must align your passion with the area that you're looking to go, or the volunteering course that you're embarking on. Because otherwise it's very quick to burn out, particularly when you're not getting any form of, monetary value in terms of, remuneration. But once you align and your vision aligns with that of the organization, then it's easier to marry both, and then you're able to even do better. So for me, that's just the story of how I came on board, or why SIBS. And it's been an amazing journey so far, from just being a mentor, for being from being a volunteer. Sorry, my nose is running. From being a volunteer to particularly certain projects. I think at the time when I joined Come On Board YSIPS, it was more of Project Grade. I was like more of a like major program at that time. It was like, giving back to school children. When they're going back to school, we try to provide like educational supplies, indigent children who could not afford, or whose parents could not afford these things. We try to make provision. You make provision for these children, send them back to school. We go to different schools, and I was like, wow, I think I'm on track on this, and gradually like that, we started to incorporate even more and more programs. It became, um, we kept on, putting structures in place, it became, and then I think along the line, I can't remember at what point that I became head of mentoring. I honestly can't remember because for me, it was just, let's just do the work. Right. And so that's how it is been for me. Another aspect I want to really speak on for volunteering is, aside from you lending your skills and your service and your skill set, really, another really important area that people sometimes overlook. Yes, you want to lend your skills. Yes, you want to lend your voice or your service. Another aspect, that is key, is also giving to that organization. Because I think that whatever thing that you hold dear or hold important, you would also commit to it. You commit to it financially, you commit to it. You commit to it, you commit your time, you commit your skills to it. So one part that I see that people also neglect a lot is in the giving aspect, is also in putting that financial commitment as well. Um, it takes a lot to want to give financially, but if you truly have passion for that thing, and you truly want to see a change happen, you'll be willing to bring your own bit of it first, and then the rest can follow. So that's one very key area. Even though it's not like you might not have everything all together, but the little you can give can make a very, very, very big difference. I remember when Ivy had mentioned on the call when she said about Tunde Onakoya, and he says, making a difference from even the small place where you are. So making a difference, even the little resource that you have, because at the end of the day, it's actually producing a ripple effect, you know, in the lives of other people, knowingly or unknowingly. So you have that impact still, on other people's life, even with the little resource that you're committing. Another thing another area I would love to speak on for volunteering is how it can impact you. I've spoken about it on a personal note, but also your career. So for me, volunteering has really helped a lot, and has really impacted my career on so many ways. But I'll just speak on say for job opportunities as an example. Um I had moved from Nigeria to a different part of the world. And then coming over to a new country where I know nobody, it was difficult to get a job. It was difficult to, they'll always say, oh, you have to have experience, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. And it was quite difficult. Um, but one thing that helped me to land, would I say, a first job, which was still a volunteer role, even after I left Nigeria, was my volunteering experience. So I had seen this job online. I applied for it. I had my CV with my volunteer experience, from previous experience. I had really previous volunteering experiences I had before I even joined YSIPS. I had applied for this job, and it was something that stood out for me. It was something that I realized that because of that volunteering experience, I was able to quickly settle into another job, because I think also Ivy had mentioned when she was speaking about some companies also having their corporate social responsibility, that bit that they want to fulfill as a company, that contribution that they want to make. So when companies say that, oh, this person is also working in this line, and then there's an alignment of vision within the company's goal and then this person's individual goal, they're interested to want to know more about that person. And so that's one thing that helped me here to land even the first job. So I went as far as, that was like my first official job, even though it was a volunteering role. But at least with that, whilst I was applying for other jobs, they said, oh, because you have this experience, oh, that means, you can do A, B, C, and D. And so that was a stepping stone for me. That helped me a lot. I was also able to land a volunteer role, one of the biggest ambulance service here in the country. So and that was because, as a result of, once I had mentioned my volunteer role from Nigeria, the recruiter was so interested to know what I was, what I was doing back home locally, what I was doing. She was so interested, and she was really keen. She showed really big interest, and I was not surprised when I, got that job. I wasn't surprised at all. So volunteering also really helps you, aside from personally, you're able to advance your career. If you're going into a new environment, that can actually stand out for you as something that can that can actually stand out for you as something. So it's not something should be neglected in any way at all. Put your best foot forward, right? In this journey of your volunteering, even as you come on Y-SIPs, as much as you can, engage as much as you can, partner, collaborate, just be there as a volunteer, be there because you can actually be a volunteer but not be there, not be present. So one thing I want to leave you with is to be present, even as you come on this journey on the White Sips team, be present, be active, right? And aside from, just even job opportunities, you're able to also get like hard skills in terms of like technical writing, in terms of, proposal writing, different things that you would, benefit yourself. And aside from that, one sole thing is also purpose fulfillment. You would have that thing on your inside where you're at peace. You're at peace doing that thing that you're joyful. That thing alone, that fulfillment alone is something, it counts for something. It's a very big count. So I'll just leave you with those words to say, as much as you can, give your best, be present. Uh, yeah, and just let's keep creating impact. Thank you very much. I hope I've not spoken too much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Uji. It's not even about, I only wish that, maybe we even brought you up earlier because now we have just a few people left on the call. But
Oh,
I'm amazed. You did not share some of these things with me. I'm just hearing them here, but it's amazing. And your story is very inspiring. I'm glad that this session is being recorded. I hope the recording is still on. At least I intend to particularly cut out your session and do something with it. But volunteering is there. We can't even overemphasize all the benefits that come with it. All the benefits that come. It's amazing, though, that I don't know, but if people can really just commit to it, people are saying there is no job, just go and get a volunteer role and upskill. It gives you a lot of opportunity. And I also see volunteers come on the team and they're just doing it anyhow. And like I see the difference between the ones that stay committed to the cause and are dedicated and are bringing their best foot forward. The difference between them and the people that are just hanging around. So thank you again, and of course, this is my open appreciation to you for all the good work that you're doing. And by the way, Ugochi is currently heading our mentoring program. So she just started. I can't even remember what role she was handling where she started, but she had to wear that bigger. So Ugochi will just move straight to the photo reel of our inductees and then we'll wrap it up. So I don't know if you have that ready. Do you have it ready? Or do you want me to help you with that?
um, I think I can do that quickly.
All right, that's fine.
Mm. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can
Yes,
you
we
also?
can. Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, so these are the beautiful and handsome faces of of the new members for YSIP. So these are new inductees for the YSIP's team. I'll just go straight to the first person, and the person of Abigail Onyedinefu. Welcome, Abigail. It's really good to have you on the team. And I'm not sure she's on the call anymore because we have very few people on the call at the moment. But I'll just still go ahead to go through, all the new team members. Welcome, Abigail. We have Anissa Idris. We have Ruth Dazumi. We have Fortress Okechukwu. We have Elizabeth Fatumbi. I hope I pronounced that well. I'm sorry if I didn't, and you're on the call. We have Bosayo Deimbo. Why does this face look very familiar to me?
She's one of the awardees now. You
Of
first did
course.
the fashion design. Yes,
Honestly, I was like, this face looks too familiar. I can't see it.
she's paying it
Right,
forward.
Bosayo. Busayo, really lovely to have you. Thank you so much for being part of the team. Eunice Ngbanwa. And we have Joy Sadari. Nice to meet you, Joy. Thank you for coming on board. And we have Sani Umar. We have Shalom Okoya. Oh, that was Shalom. Shalom. And I remember Shalom's inputs. Oh, nice to have you, Shalom. We have Sentang Danladi. Nice to have you, Setang. We have Khadija Al Hassan. We have Millicent Nandiel. Nice to have you, Millicent. Really lovely to have you. So that's all the new inductees for the YSIPS volunteering team. Thank you all so much
Let's
for
see their screen now.
what
The last slide. Let's see
part
them.
of this. And yeah, this is all the beautiful and handsome faces. I'm so happy to be having a guy, amongst, this team. It's really amazing to have a man. So thank you all so much for, you know, showing interest, indicating interest to be a part of the YSIPS team. It's really lovely to have you all. And I honestly cannot wait to see, what remarkable difference this year would hold for us, to see the difference that, would make, the impact that would make. Last year was quite a very busy year. And somewhat a part of me is scared of for this year because I'm like, I can't even imagine how this year would be. So it's really great to have you all here, on board YSIPS. And I hope that, you know, with all our joint effort, we'll put hands together to really make a difference and create sustainable impact. Welcome,
Thank you.
welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Yuji. Thank you. And thank you. Welcome again, guys. It's so sad that most of us are not here. I understand that this program was long, but the workshop was worth it. And I know that you can also attest to that. Yeah, the good thing is that we already had orientation with you guys last week, and this induction is pretty much just to reveal you guys to the rest of the world. And of course, we'll be making some official announcements on our social media, and we'll be having, from here on, we're going to be having strategic meetings to put you guys in your different service units. But thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of the team. I mean, like Gucci said, the one thing you need to know is that we're an NGO that actually works. We have a lot of work to do. And we are looking forward to really just having you guys, help us to push our causes forward with your time, your talent, and your resources as well, as much as you can. So we're great to have you. Fortunately, all the other things that we plan to do, because we're also trying to just understand what's going on. But we'll be having our first official meeting, and it'll be communicated to you guys the time this coming week. Okay, that's next week. So let's look forward to that. And you'd also be officially added to the main WhatsApp group for the YSIPS volunteers team. Thank you, guys. And I'd like to thank everybody. All right, so Eugene, I'd like to thank everybody that stayed. Helen, please, I'm quite interested in you because you stayed to the very end of this call. And if you don't mind, maybe you can just send me a message on WhatsApp. I'd like to get to know you a bit more because for you to stay till the end, I don't know if you joined from the beginning, but you stayed till the end, and that means something. So let's connect, okay? All right, guys, and thank you, Akudo. Thank you for being here on the call. Thank you, Gladness. I know you all got value. So the next thing you need to do for me is just on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, or anywhere, just you can share, the things that you took out from this session, and please tag us, tag us, YSIPS Changemakers workshop. You can, what I learned from the YSIPS Changemakers workshop. Please, it would be nice for you to do that. Put it on your LinkedIn, on your Facebook, on your Instagram, and tag us. We're everywhere as YSIPS Foundation. Okay. On Instagram, we are at YSIPS Foundation. On LinkedIn, we are YSIPS with a hyphen. On Facebook, we're just YSIPS without the hyphen. Tag us. Let's hear you. And you can also send in your, I'd like to also see some reactions on the WhatsApp group, just to encourage those that missed it. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we can share the recording for this session. Even if we would, We have to edit it first and then maybe put it on our YouTube channel. So people have to wait a long while. And the last announcement is our Changemakers workshop goes live. And the Changemakers workshop is the Changemakers program, sorry. The call for application goes live. Let me share my screen. The call for application for the Changemakers group program is going to go live on Monday. And the program is packed, right? I don't know how long it's for. I keep mixing it up because we have a lot of programs, but it's going to be packed. And we are focusing on this training. And there might be some grant making opportunities for people who join the program. So if you're passionate about share, if you're passionate about this, or whether you're an internal person or not, of course, it's compulsory for all internals. Take it seriously. So that's the flyer. You're the first to see it. The flyer is going to be released on Monday with the link. Please apply for the program so that you can get into the Changemakers program. We're looking for just 100. I'm not even sure they said it's up to 100, maybe 50 people thereabouts, so we can focus and give them the training. And we're going to be having a lot of industry experts in our faculty for the Changemakers program. So take advantage of it. And of course, be a part of our organization. And we do a lot of work and that requires money. So if you're led, don't have to be led. There's a lot of work, and also make donations to our courses to help us continue to move forward. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you. Thank you. Please leave your last word. Thank you, Helen, for the congratulations. Congratulations, Nandel. Congrats, Busayo. So we've come to the end of the workshop today. I think, please let me get some feedback. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? You can tell me in the chat. But okay, let me unmute, allow everybody to unmute. So you can unmute and tell me, was it worth it? Now you can talk. So how was the session for you? So I'll start with you, Helen. Please, I'd like to get your feedback.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Helen. The sessions were massive. I gained a whole lot of value. Thank you so much, Ma, for putting this together. God bless you, Ma.
Amen. Thank you so much for also being here. So please, let's connect. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram. My name is the same everywhere. All right, Nandel, let's hear from you. Okay, before I move to Nandel, Gladness, how was the session for you?
Good afternoon, Ma. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, for me, it was really impactful. Before joining, I had like some questions that I needed answers to. So during the course of the whole workshop, so you just answered all my questions. So for me, it was really impactful, and I'm glad that I joined.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. So it was worth your time. Okay, so Nandel, let's hear you. How was the session? And congrats again. Okay, if you're speaking, we can't hear you, but your mic is unmuted. Okay, we can't hear you. So I'll move to Busayo. Nande, while you try to sort that out, Millicent. Busayo, how was the session? Or is it me?
Good afternoon, Ma. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so it was a wonderful session. It was so insightful. Even though I couldn't join the third one because I was logged out, but then the first two sessions that I joined in were very insightful. I learned a whole lot, and it was worth it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You actually missed two, but I'm glad you were at least able to attend the first two. Okay, all right. Nandel, can you try now to speak?
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me. Good
I'm not sure what's going on with your mic, but we can't hear you. Okay, but let's, because of time, so I can let us go. Let's So let's drop our feedback on the chat, WhatsApp chat, both the chat, majorly the Changemakers chat if you're on the Changemakers chat, or the volunteers chat if you're there. And most importantly, on social media, please. It's very, very important to us. Also help us increase our visibility. Really want the visibility, and it's important because a lot of resources go into planning and putting these things together. So Helen, please reach out to me so that we can, not now though, but you can just send me, let's have the connect, then you can find time to connect properly in the coming week, okay? Very important. Thank you so much, Gladness. Thank you, Nandel. Thank you, Sayo, for staying to the end of the call. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you. We will see you at the team level. Bye, everyone.